Hello everyone, welcome to What If Wolverine Was Sent to Highschool DXD movie. Before we start, please go support Guerrero Legends for writing that awesome fanfic. This is the translated version I made. There will be some mistake in character's gender, but of course Wolverine is a male. Wolverine is sent to a new world facing great threats and falling in love with a certain albino Nekomata. Prologue: Arrival in a new world. It all started in the Avengers Tower, where Tony Stark, also known as the great armored hero Iron Man, had created a machine that allowed him to travel between dimensions, and when he wanted to show his new creation to his fellow Avengers, he didn't find them, except for Bruce Banner, also known as the strongest Avenger of all, the Incredible Hulk. Tony: Hi Bruce. Bruce: Hi Tony. Tony: Hey, do you know where the others are? Bruce: Well, Natasha and Clint went to check out some stuff at S.H.I.E.L.D., Steve went for a walk, Thor went to see his Dr. Crush, Vision and Wanda went flying around, and Peter is at school. Tony: I see, and why didn't you go out? Bruce: Well, where do you want me to go? Besides, Clint isn't here and I'd like to enjoy this piece without his bad jokes. Tony: Well, since you're here I'll show you my new invention, but I won't feel like a real genius if I only show it to you. In Bruce's mind, what could he have wanted to tell me? Tony: I know, what if we tell Logan to come see my invention? Bruce: Okay, Tony, but if the big guy has another problem with his claws, I'm not responsible. Tony: Okay, let me call him. Meanwhile, at the X-Men mansion, Logan was sleeping until his cell phone rang. He lazily took his cell phone and saw who was calling him when he was a little surprised and answered. Logan: Now what do you want, Stark? Tony: First say hello, don't be rude. Logan: Stop messing around and tell me what you want. Tony: Bueno wanted to know if you wanted to come see my new invention? Logan: No thanks, now let me sleep. Tony: Please Logan, eat. Logan: If I go, you'll stop bothering me. Tony: Yes. Logan: Okay. I'll be there in a few minutes. Sometime later in the Avengers Tower. Logan: Okay, Stark, that's what you wanted to teach me. Tony: Logan, Bruce prepared to be impressed by my new invention, the dimensional teleporter. Logan: Just one question, Stark. Is it safe? Bruce: I asked the same thing. Tony: Sure, let me show you. When Tony turned on the machine, everything was going well, but after a few minutes several damages and errors appeared. Reactor overload alert. Dimensional gap opening. At that moment, Bruce on impulse turned into Hulk and Logan took out his claws and stuck them into the ground so as not to be swallowed by the gap. Tony did not have time to put on his armor and was going to be swallowed, but before he was held by Logan, who said to him, Logan, it was safe, it wasn't it? Tony: It was overloaded. I don't know how it happened, I checked everything very carefully. Logan felt like he couldn't avoid being sucked in any longer, so he looked at Hulk and yelled at him. Logan: Hulk, get him. Logan then threw Tony at him so he wouldn't be dragged down with him. He then let go and fell into the gap, but before it closed, Hulk told him, Hulk, little man, take care of yourself. Logan just gave him his thumb, and with that the portal closed. Logan: Well, now what awaits me? What's my next adventure going to be? After saying that, he fell unconscious, wandering through space and time. Chapter 1: A Nekomata's Wish. We left off where Logan had been sucked into the dimensional breach created by Tony Stark's machine. As our protagonist travels through space and time, his body underwent some changes. He became younger, and his regeneration system improved. It seemed like he would be trapped there forever, but out of nowhere a portal opened in front of him, drawing him in. Meanwhile, on the other side of the portal was a white-haired girl with hazel eyes who was wearing a high school uniform and looked to be about 16 years old. She was in the middle of a park, deep in thought. Kaneko thinking, because what Akino-senpai told me affected me a lot. Flashback. Kaneko is seen sitting on a sofa eating a cookie, and a young girl with black hair tied with an orange ribbon and violet eyes walks in. Kaneko: Hello, Akino Sr. Akino: Who gave you permission to talk to me, dwarf? Kaneko's thoughts: Why does she treat me so badly? The only ones who treat me well are Ria-senpai and Kiba-senpai, They gave me my place in the occult club, but Akino-senpai treats me as if I were just a hindrance, and I don't understand why she treats me like that. Akino, hey girl, where is the president and Kiba? Kaneko, the president and Kiba-senpai went to see Sauna Citri, the student council president. Akino, I see. Kaneko, Akino-senpai, can I ask you a question? Akino, what do you want? She answered somewhat annoyed. Kaneko, why is she so mean to me? She asked somewhat sadly. Akino, haha. Very easy, because you are nothing more than a nuisance. In fact, I don't know what the president noticed about you. Just look at you. You are small and you don't tie men down. On the other hand, I am very beautiful and many people approach me. You will never find someone who truly loves you and is willing to give their own life to see you happy. Kaneko, upon hearing that last thing, began to cry and ran out of the club, leaving a smiling Akino behind. End flashback. Kaneko remembered that, and a few small tears came out, and she thought that Akino was right. But she saw a shooting star. She wiped the tears from her eyes with her hands and said, Kaneko, please, I wish that one day the man who truly loves me and is always by my side to make me happy will come into my life. After a few minutes, Kaneko was ready to leave, but the moment she stood up, she saw a portal open above her, leaving her surprised. But before she could wonder what that was, the portal expelled something falling very close to her, causing a slight tremor. Kaneko saw that. Impressed, she turned her gaze back to where the portal was but saw that it was closing. When it finished closing, she looked in the direction where the object fell. Kaneko's thoughts: what could have come out of the portal? I guess I'll have to go investigate. Saying that, she took out her demon wings and began to fly in the direction where the object fell. Kaneko, upon reaching the place of impact, saw a not-so-large crater. The Nekomata began to descend, and upon reaching the ground she saw a shadow of someone lying on the ground right in the center of the crater. She approached and saw a 17-year-old boy. Brown hair, he had a black shirt, blue pants, black shoes and a red leather jacket. He had muscles that could be highlighted in his body. Kaneko blushed and wondered. Kaneko blushed. Could it have been him who came out of that portal? As she got closer, she saw that he was very injured, so she decided to take him to her house to heal him and let him rest well. But when she wanted to lift him up, she realized that his wounds were regenerating very quickly, but he was still unconscious. So Kaneko made a magic portal, disappearing into it and reappearing in her house, specifically in her room. Kaneko put him on her bed and proceeded to clean the blood that he had on his body. When she finished cleaning all the blood, Kaneko stayed on one of the pieces of furniture waiting for the unconscious subject to wake up. Kaneko, in her thoughts: I hope you wake up soon, I want to know who you are. He thought about it as a slight smile, and a small blush appeared on his face. Chapter 2: Meeting a Nekomata. We left off at the part where Kaneko had taken Logan home to clean the blood off his body and let him rest since he was unconscious. Meanwhile, a small blush and a slight smile could be seen on the beautiful face of the Nekomata. A few hours had passed and Kaneko had fallen asleep because she had stayed next to Logan waiting for him to wake up. Logan began to slowly open his eyes and saw that he was in a room that was unknown to him. He looked everywhere for something he recognized, but when he looked next to him, he saw Kaneko, who was deeply asleep. Logan's thoughts: was she the one who brought me here? In that, Logan tried not to make much noise so as not to wake her up and leave the room, but before leaving he carefully placed Kaneko in bed and covered her with the blankets so she could sleep without problems. When he left, he walked around the house seeing everything there was. When he finished walking around the house, he sat on an armchair that was there and said to himself, Logan, wow, so in the end Stark's machine worked. Seeing the physical features of that girl and her writing, I guess I must be in Japan, but not the Japan that I know. It would be better if I stayed here until the girl wakes up and ask her some things. Besides, it seems that she is not human since her smell gives her away. Well, I think I should also rest, and tomorrow I will find out a little about this world. So Logan fell asleep in the living room while Kaneko slept in her room without a care. The next morning, Kaneko would be the first to wake up thanks to the sun's rays that entered through the window. When she woke up, she saw that she was in her bed, and the only thing she thought was Kaneko. In her thoughts, it was just a dream. She said it a little depressed. She put that aside and got ready to go to school. When she left, the first thing she did was go to the kitchen to make herself some breakfast. When she finished, she went to her living room to eat, but she was surprised to find that the young man she saw brought last night was there, and with a smile she said to herself, "Kaneko, so it wasn't a dream, but why is he in the living room? Well, I'd better wake him up so he can have some breakfast." So Kaneko proceeded to wake up Logan, who was deeply asleep. After many attempts, Logan would begin to open his eyes, first seeing beautiful hazel eyes. Kaneko, upon seeing Logan's silver eyes, blushed a little, and the only thing she could say was, "Kaneko, good morning." "Logan, good morning, did you sleep well?" Kaneko, "Well, thank you very much for asking." Logan, "Okay girl, what's your name?" Kaneko, "My name is Kaneko Tuju." "What is your name?" Logan, "My name is Logan." "And could you tell me what you are, since I know you are not human?" Kaneko was impressed, since he knew she was not human. Kaneko shocked, "And how do you know I'm not human?" Logan, "Simple, because of your smell." Kaneko would sigh and go on to tell what her life really was, the things she had to go through, how she joined the Gremory clan. Logan listened attentively to Kaneko's story and noticed that her past was very similar to his, so Kaneko finished explaining her story, a few tears coming out. Logan, seeing that for some strange reason, hugged Kaneko, surprising her and blushing. Kaneko was going to say something but was interrupted by Logan, who told her, "Logan, I know what you had to go through. Being rejected by people just for being different, and having the people closest to you do things that can affect you deeply. I understand all the suffering you had to go through." Kaneko, hearing what Logan said, just started crying, hugging him very tightly. Kaneko couldn't stop crying. They had to vent all the pain she had been carrying for a long time. Logan just hugged her while trying to comfort her. Logan's thoughts: why am I doing this? I'm not like that, but I feel like I have to protect her, and with my own life if necessary. Kaneko's thoughts: Logan-senpai, I hope you are the man who is with me and makes me happy always. They both stayed hugging each other while small blushes were noticeable on their faces, and they both thought the same thing. Thoughts of both: I will never leave you alone. It was the thought of both before separating to continue talking. Chapter 3: Making New Friends Part 1. In the previous chapter, Kaneko had told her whole story to Logan, who was hugging her since she had been through almost the same thing as him, thus creating a feeling in both of them. As they finished hugging, Kaneko was getting ready to go to school, but she saw that she was already late, so she put her notebooks and books in her backpack and wrote an address on a piece of paper. So Kaneko went to where Logan was and gave him the paper, telling him the following. Kaneko, Logan-senpai, when school is over, can you please come to this address? Logan took the paper, looked at it, and just agreed, so Kaneko proceeded to open the door and leave, but not before giving Logan a kiss on the cheek, who was surprised by Kaneko's act. She was already a few meters from her house and remembered the kiss she gave her senpai, blushing and running a little faster. Logan, seeing that Kaneko was walking away, entered the house and saw everything around him. Logan, what am I going to do while she's at school? Well, it wouldn't hurt to clean up this place a bit. I don't really like it, but it's the only thing I can do to keep from getting too bored. So Logan proceeded to clean Kaneko's house by sweeping the living room, washing a few dishes that were there, and began to clean some furniture. But when he was going to clean one of the pieces of furniture that were in Kaneko's room, he saw some notebooks there, and out of curiosity he took them and looked through them. Logan, let's see, this notebook is for math, this one here is for biology, and lastly this one is for history. When Logan finished checking them, he saw a small schedule that was next to a calendar like this, and saw that the third, fifth, and last hour was his turn for those 3 subjects. Worrying a little about the Nekomata, he proceeded to take the 3 notebooks and quickly leave the house to go to Kaneko's school, guided by his nose. Meanwhile, at school, more specifically in Kaneko's classroom, she was finishing her 2nd hour of class, when the 3rd teacher passed by, who was the math teacher. The first thing he did was greet his students, asking them to dry their notebooks to start the classes. Everyone would obey by taking out their notebooks, but Kaneko did not find him worrying. Kaneko, in her thoughts, I'm sure I threw it out before leaving. But he saw that the notebook he had put in his backpack was the civics one, which worried him a lot. But he was even more worried when he saw that the biology and history ones weren't there either. Kaneko worried. It can't be. I took the wrong notebook and I didn't bring the biology and history ones. What am I going to do? She said it in her thoughts so that no one would hear her. At that, the teacher asked her if she was okay. Kaneko just nodded nervously. The teacher found it strange that his student was nervous since he remembered that she wasn't like that. He decided to go over to see what was happening. But before he got to his place, the door ranged, causing the teacher to go see who it was and relieving Kaneko a little. The teacher, upon opening the door, saw that it was a 17-year-old boy with a red leather jacket, a black shirt, blue pants, black shoes, and a somewhat crazy hairstyle. "Teacher, what can I help you with, young man?" he said kindly. "Logan, good morning. Well, I came to see Kaneko since she forgot this." So Logan showing Kaneko's notebooks. The teacher would just smile at Logan's kindness, then call Kaneko, telling her the following. "Teacher Kaneko, someone is coming to see you." Kaneko thought it was her president Akiba, so the teacher opened the door a little more, revealing who the person who had come to see her was, surprising Kaneko when she saw that it was Logan. The women blushed when they saw our protagonist, and the men just cursed him, having a depressive cloud, making Logan shed a drop of sweat. Kaneko surprised, "Senpai, what are you doing here?" Logan didn't say anything, he just laughed mockingly and showed his notebooks, blushing in embarrassment to Kaneko, who only walked quickly but comically to where Logan was to take his notebooks. Kaneko embarrassed, Thank you very much, Logan-senpai." Logan mockingly, "It's nothing, Kaneko, I just hope you don't forget them again, he. Well, I have to go now, I'll see you later." Then he proceeded to give her a kiss on the cheek, making Kaneko blush a lot and making her classmates jealous. Kaneko just quickly went to her place, making Logan and the teacher laugh. Logan, "Well, I'm leaving now, it was nice meeting you." Teacher, "Likewise, have a nice day." Logan, he just raised his hand in affirmation. Kaneko in her thoughts, "Why did Logan-senpai bring me my things? And what was that kiss? I feel very strange when I'm with him." At that, Kaneko smiled with a noticeable blush on her cheeks and said, "Kaneko, thank you for coming into my life, Logan-senpai." Meanwhile, with Logan, he was walking through the school hallways lost in his thoughts. Logan thinking, "Why do I behave like this with Kaneko? Maybe it's because I like her? I'm very confused, but even if that were the case, I doubt she feels the same way about me." At that, Logan would collide with someone, causing them both to fall. Logan was the first to get up and heard a girl's voice saying, "Girl, oh, that hurt me." Logan, "Sorry, I was thinking about something and I didn't look where I was going." Girl, "Don't worry, just be more careful next time." When the girl saw Logan's face, she blushed but was brought out of her impression by him. Logan, "And what's your name?" Girl, "My name is Sona Citri." "And what is your name?" Logan, "My name is Logan." Sona, "Nice to meet you. What are you doing here?" Logan, "I came to drop off some stuff for a friend." Sona, "I see, well, it was very nice to meet you." Logan, "Likewise." So they both went their separate ways. Sona's thoughts, "That boy is very cute, but what did I just think?" thus blushing as she entered a classroom. Logan was already outside the school thinking about what he was going to do now. Logan thinking, "Well, I guess I'll go for a walk, I should get to know this city a little better." So Logan started walking with the intention of getting to know the city better. Chapter 4, Making New Friends Part 2. A Fight of Mutants. We find ourselves in the part where Logan had gone to Kaneko's school to leave her his notebooks that he forgot. Upon doing so, he proceeded to leave the place, running into the student council president Sona Citri, thus introducing themselves and going in different directions. Logan, he had decided to walk around the city to get to know her better and distract himself a bit. Logan found himself walking down the street being watched by the people who were there in a different way. On the women's side, they looked at him with lust and hearts in their eyes. On the men's side, they saw him with hatred and bloodlust. Logan would not pay attention to the looks of the people and would continue walking for a few hours until he reached a park, thus lying down on the grass, closing his eyes, thinking about how his old classmates would be. But then an image of Kaneko smiling would come to mind. Logan would slowly open his eyes, seeing that it was late. thus standing up deciding to go back to Kaniko's school since she wanted to introduce him to some friends. Logan, well, Kaniko wanted to introduce me to some friends. I better go see. But before taking the first step a man spoke to him saying, Subject, so you're the one they sent me to kill. Logan, and who are you? At that point, a man was seen standing on top of a small abandoned church that was there. Subject, I am Mikage Kikyo and I am a professional assassin known as the Mutant Samurai. Logan, mutant, he said it in his thoughts. And what do you want? I shouted at him. Meanwhile at the club 30 minutes earlier, Kaniko was seen sitting on an armchair drinking some tea and eating a cookie. Then Akino came in and when she saw Kaniko she got a little upset. Kaniko had noticed but didn't take it seriously and continued eating her cookie. Akino got more upset and said to her, Akino, hey you brat, who do you think you are to ignore me? Kaniko just remained silent and continued eating. Akino, more than angry, was ready to grab Kaniko as a punching bag but before making the slightest attempt, Rias entered with Kiba and Issei. Note Issei's thing happened at the same time as Logan's arrival. Rias and Kiba, hello Akino, hello Kaniko. Akino, hello President, hello Kiba-san. Kaniko, hello President, hello Kiba-senpai. Akino, now I see that they have already brought the new one. Issei just kept a perverted look on his face when he saw Akino. Rias, well Kaniko, what did you want to talk to us about? Kaniko, Madam President, last night when I was in the park a portal opened and a very strange young man came out. Everyone was shocked by what Kaniko had said. Kiba, and where is he now? Kaniko, he should be arriving soon. Akino, and how do you know that, girl? She said with a smile trying to make Kaniko angry. Kaniko, because I told him to come when classes ended. She said it with a smile, making Akino even angry. Rias, well, we have to wait. 30 minutes later. Kaniko was seen walking around the club worried, while everyone saw her with a drop of sweat. Then Issei spoke. Issei, what's so special about that guy? Akino, well, if that dwarf says so, then I say that nothing is more. I think it doesn't even exist. Kaniko had heard that, and was going to say something but was interrupted by Rias. Rias, Kaniko, what do you think if we search for him with our magic to see where he is? Akino, definitely far away from her so I can't stand her anymore. Kaniko couldn't resist any longer and slapped him, leaving everyone with their mouths open. Akino was about to respond but was stopped by Rias. Rias, don't you dare Akino. Akino, but President. Rias, no but you asked for it. Rias began to conjure a magic portal to look for Logan, while Kiba was trying to calm Kaniko, and Issei just approached Akino telling her. Issei, I'm on your side Akino. Akino just thanked her and looked at Kaniko very angry and thinking. Akino in her thoughts, you're going to pay for this, damn girl. Rias, what is this? It can't be. Everyone in the club, what's up, Madam President? Rias, it's Mikage Kikyo. So showing an image. Kiba, what are you doing here in the city? Rias, I don't know Kiba. Kaniko, Madam President, he must be stopped, or he will kill many innocent people. Akino, I agree. Issei didn't know what was happening so he asked Kiba. Issei, hey Kiba, who is he? Issei asked pointing at the image. Worried Kiba, he is an assassin known as the Mutant Samurai. He killed many demons, angels and fallen angels. Even the leaders of the three factions have had trouble catching him. Issei was surprised and terrified at the same time, and when they were about to go, they heard a voice in the image that Kaniko recognized. Kaniko worried, that voice, it can't be. Kaniko saw the magic circle seeing what she feared most. Kaniko, Senpai Kaniko scream. Rias, it's Kaniko. It's the guy you're talking about. Kaniko's solo acknowledged her head worried for Logan. At that they heard the great mutant assassin saying something to Logan. Mikage, didn't you hear me tell me that I was sent to kill you? Logan, so who? Mikage, it's not worth telling you since this place will be your grave, he said while taking his katana out of his hand. Logan, Well, since you don't want to tell me the nice way, Logan said, taking out his claws. Then it will be the bad way. Mikage was a little impressed to see that Logan did the same thing as him, only they were claws and his was a katana. While at the club, everyone was shocked to see that Logan had taken out claws from his knuckles ready to fight Mikage. Kaneko was worried about her senpai since she knew what the mutant samurai was capable of. Meanwhile, in the park, Mikage threw himself from the roof of the abandoned church trying to cut Logan in half. He just stood there waiting without doing anything, worrying Kaneko, who decided to close her eyes so as not to see her senpai being killed. The others were attentive to see what would happen. Kaneko heard as if two swords were colliding and decided to open her eyes, seeing that everyone was impressed by what happened. She looked at the magic circle, seeing that Logan blocked the mutant samurai's attack without problems, also surprising herself. In the fight, it was seen how both were struggling with their pole arms until Logan made him back off. Mikage tried to cut him, but Logan moved quickly, avoiding the cut, so both began to exchange politeness. Both seemed to have no problems. At the club, Kiba, that guy is fighting on par with the mutant samurai. Rias, it's impressive. Akino, it's obvious that that boy is a great fighter. Issy, wow, it seems that both of them don't want to give in to each other. Kaneko blushes, Logan senpai is amazing. In the fight, Logan tried to cut Mikage, but he jumped, avoiding the attack and trying again to cut Logan in two, which easily blocked the attack. They took distance, and then Logan ran towards him, wanting to give him a cut while Mikage waited for him to also cut him. Both gave their attack, coming out a little blood. Logan stepped back with a cut on his forehead, worrying the Nekomata who saw item. Mikage smiled as he managed to give him a cut, but Logan pointed to his chest with a smile, and Mikage saw that he had a cut and saw that some blood came out. Everyone was shocked as Logan had managed to give a cut, but they were more surprised to see how he cleaned the blood, seeing that his wound was gone. Logan threw himself at him again, but Mikage dodged him by jumping to reach the roof of the church and jumped again to get to where the bell was. Logan also jumped twice to get to where Mikage was, which tried to give him a horizontal cut, but Logan dodged it by getting behind Mikage. He turned quickly and tried to give him a vertical slash, but Logan managed to block it with his claws and made him retreat with a kick. Both were going to continue their fight, but were interrupted by the sirens of patrol cars that were approaching the area. At that, Mikage decided to put away his katana and leave from there, but he gave Logan a look and said, "Mikage, you have proven to be a great warrior and opponent. Tell me what your name is?" "Logan, I'm Wolverine." "Mikage, we'll see you soon, Wolverine." He said it with a challenging smile. After finishing saying that, Mikage disappeared into the shadows, and Logan decided to leave there by jumping between the trees. In the club, Kiba, that was shocking. Issy, and a great rivalry of great warriors rose. Akino, now it seems that this young man who calls himself Wolverine is a box of surprises. Kaneko, Logan senpai is incredible. I fought the mutant samurai. She said this while drinking a glass of water, as she felt like she was going to faint seeing such a battle. Kiba, and there wasn't even a winner defined. Rias, in short, you have to know him, to know more about him. Yes, President, they all said, but Kaneko was very eager to hear Logan's story. Rias in her thoughts, that guy is amazing. He was able to fight the great mutant Smuria, something that the three faction leaders can barely do together, and it seemed like they didn't even take it seriously. Maybe he will help me with my problem, Rias thought while looking at the window. Chapter 5, Meeting Demons and Seeing the Story of a Great Mutant Hero. In the previous chapter, Logan had faced an assassin who called himself the Mutant Samurai, who was hired to kill Logan, and thus had a fierce fight which was interrupted by patrol car sirens, causing both to withdraw from the place. But what they did not know is that they were being watched by three certain people. Meanwhile, at the club, everyone was talking about how Logan had fought the mutant Smuria. Kiba, it's incredible that this guy would fight the assassin most feared by the three factions. Rias, it's true. I never thought there would be anyone who could fight on par with Mikage Kikyo. The leaders of the three factions can barely sustain a fight by joining forces. Akino, now that guy is interesting. I would like to meet him and know what other interesting things he has. He said it with a perverted tone that made Kaneko angry. Kaneko just looked out the window thinking about someone in particular. Kaneko thinking, Logan-senpai, I hope you arrive soon. I want to know about you. Meanwhile with Logan, he was leaving the park where he had his fight with the mutant samurai. When Logan left he saw that it was already night, so he decided to go quickly to Kaneko's school so she wouldn't worry. Logan, but Kaneko doesn't want to get mad at me for being late to the place she told me to. So Logan headed to the academy to meet Kaneko. Upon arriving he saw the school. He proceeded to enter and saw that it was completely empty except for an old building that was at the back of the academy. Logan went to that place thinking that Kaneko was there. While at the club, everyone was in the club room doing normal things to relieve boredom a bit. Rias and Akino started playing a game of chess. Kiba was explaining to Issy about the 3 factions and Kaneko was eating a cookie with her typical serious expression, but she was a little worried about Logan. Rias, this boy is already late. Akino, you're right, President. Kiba, what could have happened to take so long? Issy, could it be that the police managed to catch him? Everyone turned to look at him with a face that said maybe he was right, but Kaneko just got up and headed quickly to the exit to go look for him. But a knock was heard the moment Kaneko opened the door, so she noticed what it was and saw that it was Logan rubbing his forehead. Logan, hey Kaneko, why was that? Kaneko didn't say anything and just rushed to give Logan a hug. He was only impressed by Kaneko's sudden act but only reciprocated by hugging her waist and caressing her head. Kaneko, senpai was worried about you. She said it almost with tears coming out. Logan, you don't have to worry, Kaneko. They both separated a little to look into each other's eyes. Blushing a little, Logan had lost himself in Kaneko's hazel eyes. While she was lost in Logan's silver eyes, the two were going to kiss but were interrupted by Rias, who left the room where they were, making Logan and Kaneko separate quickly, blushing a little. Rias, Kaneko, why did you come out like that all of a sudden? Rias stopped when she saw the subject they saw in the magic circle was next to Kaneko. Rias surprised, you are the young man who had a fight with Mikage Kikyo. Everyone upon hearing that quickly left the room, seeing that Logan was in front of Rias and next to Kaneko. Everyone was surprised to see him. Rias, could you come to the club please? Logan looks at Kaneko, receiving a nod confirming that he could trust them. Logan agreed to enter the club and sit on one of the chairs that were there. Kaneko sat next to him, Kiba and Issy on another chair, and Akino sat next to Rias, who was sitting at a desk. Rias, tell me, who are you? Logan, my name is Logan, but I am better known as Wolverine. Rias, and how did you get here? Logan, why don't you just use your magic to see my memories, since I don't feel like talking much? Everyone just agreed and Rias began to do a magic spell to see Logan's story, thus making a magic circle appear, connecting some magic threads to Logan's head to transmit the images and prepare a snack for the time they were going to be at the club. Once everything was ready, the members of the occult club stood in front of Logan. Note: Logan's story will be the events of X-Men Origins Wolverine, X-Men 1, 2, 3 Wolverine the Immortal, and X-Men Days of Future Past. Rias, okay Logan, so we can see your story, you have to be relaxed. I'll take care of this, okay? Logan just nodded his head, relaxing so they could see his memories. As he closed his eyes and fell asleep, the first image began to appear, in which a sick little boy was seen, and in front of him was a young man who was sharpening his nails. Kaneko, that Logan-senpai when he was a child? Rias, shhhh, you have to pay attention to the story. Everyone turned back to the screen, seeing that a man of about 30 years old entered the room greeting the young man who was taking care of Logan, but then they heard some screams. Man, I think your father is drunk again. Victor, go home. Victor, it's not me you're yelling at, sir. At that both of them left quickly. Logan spoke to his father something, but the man only told him to stay, so he left with the young man. The screams became louder, but at that a shot was heard, so Logan left quickly, going down to the main room. Seeing his father dying, Logan would quickly go down the stairs to be by his side. But when he arrived he was already dead. At that a man with a shotgun spoke. Man 2, James, there are things you don't understand. But he was interrupted by a woman who said to him, Woman, don't tell him. Man 2, you have to know, no more lies. But they stopped arguing when they saw how bone claws began to emerge from Logan's hands, so with a scream he ran towards the man. The subject pointed his shotgun at him, but the woman got in the way, taking the weapon away from him. Logan had dug his claws into the subject's chest, but he had said his last words. "Man too, he wasn't your father, son." Logan stepped back and saw the woman, who only told him what it was. Logan ran away but was caught by Victor. So both escaped from the place. The story would continue going through World War II, how he was part of a group of assassins, how he left them on the first mission they had, how he had married, the supposed death of his wife, the first fight he had with his brother receiving a beating, how they embedded him with adamantium, how he fled the place where he received the adamantium, being received in a farm which was destroyed by mercenaries who were hired to capture him, the second fight he had with his brother humiliating him this time, how he met Gambit, the arrival at the island where they experimented with mutants, his wife's deception, the fight against Deadpool, the events of X-Men 1, 2, 3, Immortal Wolverine, and how he had traveled to the past to save his future. At the end of the story, it was seen how impressed everyone in the occult club was, since they not only knew Logan's age but also all the events he had to go through, all the losses he had to live through, and all the suffering he had to bear, that had made Kiba and Issy feel bad and made Rias, Akino, and Kaneko cry. But Kaneko more so, since she loved Logan very much, seeing him and thinking like that. Kaneko in her thoughts: "Logan senpai, you are a great man. Despite suffering all that, you never gave up. I will always be by your side and I will never abandon you." Chapter 6: A Fight of Demons. After arriving at the occult club, Logan decided to show his life to the Gremory clan, since Kaneko made him feel confident in them, thus showing them every last detail of his past, surprising them with the things he had to go through, the losses he lived through, and the time he has been carrying all that pain. Everyone was talking about the same thing. "Rias, I never thought there would be someone who lived through all that." "Kiba, he has the heart of a warrior." "Akino, era, and not only that, but it also has a regeneration system even better than Rias's engaged one." "Kaneko, Logan senpai is an amazing person." He said it with a blush that the club noticed, surprising them but bothering Akino, since she hated him a lot and all she wanted was to see her sad and alone. Logan was already waking up and gave a small yawn and then said, "Logan, are you done watching my memories?" Rias was going to say something, but Kaneko had given him a hug, holding him very tightly, making Logan blush and surprising the Gremory clan, since Kaneko didn't behave like that with people. "Kaneko, Logan senpai, you are an incredible man. You always kept fighting even after going through all those things. I admire you very much." Logan just hugged Kaneko, holding her close to him, to tell her the following: "Logan, now you are very important to me, since you were the person who gave me a place even without knowing me, and that is why I will protect you with my own life if necessary." Kaneko just blushed upon hearing those words, and all she did was hide her face in Logan's chest. Rias and Kiba just saw that with a smile, since Kaneko always wanted a man who would accept her for who she is and not for her physique. Issy saw that with jealousy, while Akino saw it with hatred. Akino in her thoughts: "Damn girl, I swear that I will take care of destroying your happiness." Rias: "Well, leaving all this aside, I want to inform you that in a few minutes we are going out to hunt a renegade demon." Issy: "What is that, Madam President?" Logan: "I say the same thing." Kaneko: "Look, senpai, a renegade demon is a demon who disobeyed or killed his master in pursuit of his own desires, thus becoming disgusting beings." Logan: "I see. Well, I guess I'll go with you. Besides, I have nothing to do." Rias: "Well, it's time to go." Everyone except Logan: "Yes, Madam President." Everyone left the club, heading to an abandoned warehouse outside the city. Everyone was talking about trivial things, but Kaneko and Logan were the ones who were a little far from the group, talking to each other. Rias: "I've never seen Kaneko so happy. I think meeting Logan was the best thing that could have happened to her." Kiba: "You're right, President." Issy: "I'm surprised that the coldest girl in the academy behaves like this when she's next to that guy." Akino just stood there silently staring at Kaneko, and Logan thinking about how she could take away Kaneko's happiness. They would all arrive at the place where the renegade demon was hiding. Rias: "We're here, Kaneko. Would you do me the honors?" Kaneko just approached the door and knocked it down with a single blow, surprising Issy a lot and Logan a little, although he didn't show it. Kaneko just turned her gaze to see Logan, observing that he had a small smile, blushing a little. Everyone proceeded to enter like that, but Logan stopped them, saying, "Logan, I smell something and that smell is disgusting." Then a half-naked girl would come out covering her breasts with her hands. Issy would only see her with a perverted face, causing Logan to slap him, saying, "Logan, we're here to kill her, not for you to feast your eyes on." "Issy, you're so bad, Logan," he said it with anime tears. "Renegade demon, wow, looks like I'm in for a feast tonight." Thus the renegade demon came out, showing that the lower part of his body looked like that of a spider with a large jaw. "Logan, you still think about your perversions, you fool." "Issy, the truth is that they went a little bit." "Rias, well, let's get started with this." "Kiba, go." Kiba would pull out a sword from a magic circle, cutting off the demon's arms. "Rias, Kiba's position is the knight, since his abilities are speed and agility." "Kaneko." "Kaneko, yes, President." "Now I will show Logan-senpai my strength," she thought while looking at Logan. Kaneko stood in front of the renegade demon waiting for it to attack. It only proceeded to eat Kaneko, making Logan very worried and angry. "Renegade demon, now who's next?" "Logan, hey you horrendous, you better give it back to me if you don't want me to cut you up," he said very angrily while taking out his claws. "Rias, you don't need to worry, Logan." In that, it was seen how the demon's mouth would have shown itself to Kaneko without a scratch, surprising Logan greatly and calming him down. "Kaneko, you made Logan-senpai worry about me, now you're going to pay for it." So Kaneko landed a punch on her, shattering her jaw and sending her flying to the other side of the warehouse. Kaneko's position is the tower, since her strengths are superhuman strength and resistance. "Logan, wow, I didn't worry at all." Kaneko in her thoughts, Logan-senpai was worried about me. But she was interrupted by a lightning bolt that struck near her, sending her flying and causing some damage. Logan quickly went to her to see if she was okay. He looked for the person responsible for that and saw Akino with a smile. "Logan, why did you do that to him?" "Akino, I just wanted to hit the demon. Her being in the middle is not my problem." "Rias, Akino, stop it." Akino just nodded and stood next to Issy, staring at Logan, while he looked at her with hatred while carrying Kaneko in his arms since she was unconscious. "Issy, I think Logan is very upset." Akino just smiled and thought the following. Akino's thoughts: "I think I know how to cause a lot of pain to that hateful Kaneko." Rias was approaching the renegade demon to deliver the finishing blow. "Rias, what are your last words?" "Renegade demon, buck you hitch." Rias only threw energy of destruction at him, thus pulverizing the renegade demon. After finishing killing the demon, Rias was talking to Akino, while Logan was sitting in a place away from the others taking care of Kaneko. "Rias, I don't want you to do something like that again, did you hear me right, Kaneko?" Akino just agreed, but in her thoughts she was saying the opposite. Akino's thoughts: "I already found a way to make that girl suffer, I just have to be patient." "Issy, President, I see that everyone has a particular position, but what is Akino's?" Rias: "Akino's position is the queen, since she fulfills all the characteristics of the other pieces." Issy: "Wow. And I'm the president," he said excitedly. Rias: "Well, Issy, you are the pawn." "Logan boy, I feel sorry for you." At that, Kaneko woke up and saw that Logan had her in his arms, with no intention of moving away from her, blushing a little, but she just settled on his chest, making Logan turn to look at her. "Logan, you're awake now, Kaneko." "Kaneko, yes, senpai." "Logan, I'm glad you're okay," he said while hugging Kaneko tighter. Kaneko blushed and was about to say something but was interrupted by Rias, who said, "Rias, Logan, I have a proposal to make." "Logan, and what is it?" "Rias, I want you to go to school with us." Logan and Kaneko were shocked by what Rias said. Logan just looked at Kaneko and nodded. "Rias, perfect, starting tomorrow you will start going to school." "Well, my servants, it is late, I think it would be better for you to go home now." "Logan, you can stand up, Kaneko." "Kaneko, I can't, senpai, but I just need a few minutes to. Kaneko couldn't finish because she was carried by Logan in princess form, making her blush a lot and surprising the entire Gremory clan. Kaneko, senpai, what are you doing? She said very nervously. Logan, I'll take you home. So Logan proceeded to leave with Kaneko in his arms. Kaneko just put her head on Logan's chest to get some sleep while they went to their house. Everyone was left with their jaws on the floor seeing how they were ignored, but Rias and Kiba would change their expression to a smile as they thought that Kaneko found what she wanted most. Chapter 7. First Day of School and Meeting a Nun. In the previous chapter, Logan learned more about that world, how there were 3 factions, the Holy War, the Longelus, about the renegade demons, among other things. After having finished off the renegade demon and Rias proposing to go to school, Logan left with Kaneko in his arms so she could rest. Logan was still carrying Kaneko as she was deeply asleep, and Logan looked at her with a small smile and a slightly noticeable blush. Logan thought, she looks so beautiful when she's asleep. But why her? Why do I fall in love with her? He thought as he approached Kaneko's face. While Kaneko was dreaming that she was in a very beautiful meadow with pink flowers and a tree with white leaves, but she was not alone since Logan was next to her hugging her by the waist while telling her, Logan, it's beautiful, don't you think, Kaneko? Kaneko, that's right, senpai. Senpai, can I ask you a question? Logan, and you're overcrowding it. Ha 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 ha, he said it mockingly. Kaneko, senpai, I'm serious, she said it with a cute pout. Logan, you look really cute when you're angry. And what's your question? Kaneko blushed. Is it true that you will always be by my side and protect me? Logan turned Kaneko to look at him in the eyes as he said, Logan, I will always be by your side, Kaneko. I will protect you from anything, and if I have to give my life to see you happy, I will. Kaneko blushed and approached Logan's face to kiss him, but out of her dreams she was holding Logan tightly as she got closer and closer to her lips. Logan just stayed still since he didn't know what to do, but before he could kiss her, Kaneko woke up seeing what she almost did, thus blushing extremely. Kaneko just got out of Logan's arms and walked away from him a little. Logan just stayed thinking and decided to follow her until they got home. When they arrived, they just went to sleep without saying a single word. Logan fell asleep on the couch while Kaneko went to sleep in her room. Kaneko, why did I do that? I'm a fool. Logan, what was that? I couldn't move. Both of them thinking, maybe what I'm feeling is true. The next morning, they both woke up and started getting ready, but when they were about to leave, they both looked away, and so they did until they reached the academy. Everyone had different reactions when they saw them. The girls looked at Logan with hearts in their eyes and the men with bloodlust. Kaneko went to her living room and Logan went to the principal's office. Kaneko, sorry about yesterday, senpai, she said it while she was shedding a tear. In the office, Logan was seen talking to the director. Director, so you're the new one? Logan, that's right, sir. Director, okay, young man, here I am giving you a note that comes to your classroom, give it to the teacher. Okay? Logan just nodded and walked out of the office to his classroom. A few minutes later, Logan was seen lost in the halls of the academy until he heard a voice he recognized. Sona, wow, so it's you again. Logan, hi Sona. How have you been? Sounds good, and what are you doing here? Logan, I'm the new student. Sona, and I'm sure you're looking for your living room. Logan, you got it right. Logan proceeded to give him the paper, and Sona offered to take him to her classroom. A few minutes later, Logan and Sona were seen in front of a classroom that said 2°B. Sona, well, we're here. I hope everything is going well for you. Bye. Logan just raised his hand to say goodbye and decided to knock on the door. The teacher, who was the same one who attended him before, gave him a smile and said, Teacher, go young Logan if it is you now that it is offered to you. Logan, I'm very glad to see you again, because I'm new at school and this is my classroom, thus handing him the sheet that they gave him. Teacher, okay young Logan, wait here and I'll give you the signal. Logan just confirmed his head waiting for the teacher's signal. He just came in and announced that his students were going to have a new partner. The murmurs did not take long to come and everyone started saying, Women, he'll be a cute boy. Men, she will be a girl with a good body. Teacher, please come in, young Logan. At that, Logan passed by and introduced himself to the entire group. The screams were not long in coming from the girls, and the boys would have a depressive cloud except for Issy. The teacher would tell him to sit next to Issy. Logan just listened and went to sit down. All the girls were very sad because they thought that Issy would corrupt him with his perversions. Classes would pass normally until the break, where Logan would be in a place somewhat apart from the others to be in peace until a voice would call him, being Kaneko. Kaneko, Logan-senpai. I came here to leave you some food. Logan, thanks Kaneko. Kaneko, leaving the food, was about to leave, but Logan stopped her. Logan, Kaneko, wouldn't you like to have lunch with me? Kaneko just nodded with a smile as she sat down next to Logan and started eating. A week would pass and everything would be the same, except that Kaneko and Logan would become closer, and the occult club would notice this and become happy, except for Issy and Akino. Logan was in a park resting since it was Saturday, but he heard someone fall and heard a girl's voice saying, "Girl, why do I always fall?" Logan turned to see who it was and noticed that it was a nun with green eyes, and her hair was yellow but was covered by a veil. Logan proceeded to help the nun by lifting her things. Logan, hey, is this okay? Let me help you. Girl, yes, thank you very much. And tell me what your name is? Logan, my name is Logan. And yours? Girl, I'm Asia Argento, nice to meet you, young Logan. At that, Asia's veil flew off but was taken by Logan, who saw how Asia's hair was long and beautiful. Logan only proceeded to give her the veil and hand her bags. She was about to leave, but Asia asked him, Asia, excuse me, young Logan, can you tell me where the church is? I'm new in town. Logan, I think that one from there, he said it while pointing to a church that was somewhat far away. Asia, thank you very much, young Logan. Logan, it's a bit far away and I see you're having trouble with your stuff. If you want, I can help you? Asia, I don't want to cause any trouble for him. Logan, no problem, let me help you. So Logan proceeded to grab Asia's suitcase and leave the park to get to the church. Chapter 8. The Confession and Fight Against the Fallen Angels. In the previous part, Logan started his days at the academy and met a man named Asia, who was heading to a church that was a little far from the place, so Logan offered to help her carry her luggage. While at Logan and Kaneko's house, Kaneko was preparing food but bent a spoon when she felt like she had to hit someone. Kaneko, why do I feel like I have to hit Logan-senpai when I get back? While with Logan, he was walking with Asia talking about normal things until they saw a child crying because of a wound on his knee. Asia, without thinking, went to where the child was and began to heal him with her healing power. Logan was impressed to see how Asia was healing the little boy's wound. When they finished, they proceeded to continue on their way until they reached the church, but Logan would smell a smell that would make him doubt a little. Logan's thoughts, what is this smell? They are nothing like demons or renegade demons. Asia, thank you very much for helping me, Logan-kun. Logan, calm down, it was the least I could do. Asia, would you like to eat in for tea? Logan, sorry, but I have to do some things. I'll be happy to do them another day. Asia, it's okay to have a nice day, Logan-kun. Logan just raised his hand in goodbye, leaving the place. He walked for a few minutes until he reached the house. When he entered, he saw that Kaneko was waiting for him next to the occult club. Ria stood up, gave her place, and slapped Logan, surprising everyone but Kaneko more than anyone, who said, Kaneko, president because he hit Logan-senpai. Rias, because he went to church and met a nun. Logan, what's wrong with that? Rias, those from the church and the demons cannot be friends since it could create another war. Logan, but I'm not a demon, nor am I part of your clan. Kaneko, please, Logan-senpai. Logan looked at her and noticed that she had tearful eyes. She just sighed in defeat and acknowledged. After finishing the talk, everyone stayed to eat until night fell and everyone left the club, leaving Logan and Kaneko alone. Kaneko, senpai, where are you going to sleep now? Logan, on the couch as usual. Kaneko, you can sleep in my room if you want. Logan, are you sure, Kaneko? Kaneko, the bed is a bit big so there's no problem. Logan, okay. So Logan and Kaneko went to the room to sleep. It was midnight and the two were still awake, looking at opposite sides with a blush until Kaneko spoke. Kaneko, Logan-senpai is still awake? Logan, yes, Kaneko. Kaneko, can I ask you a question? Logan, sure. Kaneko, why does he behave so differently towards me? Logan, what do you mean? He said as he turned to look at her. Kaneko, when he's with other people he's a bit cold, but when he's with me he's kind and tender. Logan, Kaneko, the reason I'm like this with you is because you make me feel at peace and complete. In short, I love you, Kaneko. Kaneko only felt her heart beat very fast upon hearing those words from Logan. He was ready to leave the place since he thought that Kaneko was not going to accept him, and when he was about to open the door, Kaneko pulled Logan, putting him on the bed again only for her to climb on top of him. Logan, blushing, Kaneko. Kaneko, me too, senpai. I love him too. And I don't plan on stopping. She said it with a few tears. Logan and Kaneko stared at each other for a while until their faces began to get closer, giving each other a passionate kiss that would last a few minutes until they separated due to lack of air. But Kaneko, without realizing it, would take out her bars and cattail, which impressed Logan. Logan, so that's your true form? He said with a smile. Kaneko, don't look at me, senpai. She said it a little sadly. Logan, why? You look so beautiful. Kaneko, I'm not afraid of you, senpai. Logan, of course not, Kaneko. Kaneko just gave Logan another kiss that lasted a little longer, and they fell asleep. Everything would happen like the original story, until the fight at the church. Logan had been the first to arrive at the church, but was stopped by 3 fallen angels who blocked his way. Fallen Angel 1, look, we have a dirty human here. Angry Logan, let me through, you bastards. Fallen Angel 2, I'm sorry but Rainer-sama cannot be interrupted. Fallen Angel 3, so prepare yourself because this place will be your grave. The 3 fallen angels created spears of light throwing the 3. Logan just stood still receiving the attack. The 3 fallen angels just started to laugh until one of them felt a great pain in his chest and spat out a lot of blood, looked down, and saw that Logan had his claws dug into his chest. Logan just lifted him up and threw him against a tree. Then he saw the other fallen angels. They were very terrified since Logan was behaving like an animal, but before they could say anything, Logan threw himself at them, digging his claws into the heart of each fallen angel, killing them. Then he saw the first one that was still alive but was dying. Logan approached him ready to kill him. Fallen angel, who the hell? Logan, I'm Wolverine. Saying that, he made a movement with his claws, cutting the neck of the fallen one. Then he entered the church and saw Fred with his maniacal smile. Fred, now I'm going to get paid for what you did to me. Angry Logan, get out of the way if you don't want me to kill you. Fred just laughed but then felt Logan dig his claws into his stomach. But he couldn't say anything as Wolverine moved his claws in opposite directions, splitting Fred in half. Then he was looking for where Asia was until he found a door below him. Wolverine broke it with his claws and began to go down. And when he was in the basement, he saw something that made him boil with anger, since there was Asia crucified and Rainer was next to her with a smile, while several priests were around. Rainer, you came late, human. Now his power is mine, she said while showing some rings. Asia, Logan-kun. Angry Logan, let her go, damn it. Rainer, I'm going to give it to you since it's of no use to me anymore. So he proceeded to release Asia and threw her to Logan, who was crying. While outside the church were Issei, Kiba and Kaneko watching everything with shock, but before entering, Rias and Akino arrived, who were in the same situation. Rias, hey, do you know what happened? Kiba, we just arrived. Issei, what kind of monster would do this? He said this while looking at Fred's corpse. Kaneko, I feel Logan-senpai's presence. Estuaries, where? Kaneko, downstairs, she said while pointing at some stairs. They all proceeded to go down, and when they reached the basement they saw Logan crying while he had Asia in his arms. Kaneko mentioned his name and Logan, upon hearing her voice, turned around and walked towards them. Logan gave Asia to Issei, who began to cry as well. Then he moved away a little to look at Rainer with murderous eyes. Rainer, so they want to die, ha 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 ha. Kill them, she shouted, and all the priests took out several firearms. Akino managed to cover almost everyone with a field of magic, but Logan was outside of it, and seeing how they were pointing at him, he just screamed as if he were an animal. He threw himself at them, but the priests began to shoot. Kaneko was very worried about Logan, but she saw that the bullets did not cause him pain. Logan killed the priests one by one in a cruel and disturbing way. Rias hugged Kaneko so she would not see what Logan was doing. But Kaneko still had one eye uncovered and saw her beloved scream with great hatred and pain. Kaneko, Logan-senpai, it was the only thing she could say as a tear came out. After finishing off all the priests, Logan saw Rainier, and she was shaking with fear, but Wolverine, without giving her a chance, dug his claws into her stomach and threw her to the ground, and when he was ready to tear her head off, Kaneko screamed. "Kaneko, Senior, stop." Logan looked at her, and saw that many tears were coming out of her eyes. "Kaneko, you are not like that, senpai. Please go back to being that boy who made my heart fall in love." Everyone was shocked to hear that, but Logan just turned to look at Rainier, and seeing that she was more than terrified, he put away his claws and threw them at Rias. Kaneko just ran towards him and hugged Logan very tightly, and only he reciprocated. Akino he looked at that scene with great hatred, but then changed to a psychopathic smile while thinking. Akino's thoughts, "Very soon, shorty, I will destroy your happiness." "Logan, I'm sorry, Kaneko, I didn't want you to see that side of me." Kaneko didn't say anything and just gave Logan a kiss on the lips, leaving everyone in shock, but Rias reacted and looked at Rainier with a cold look and said, "Rias, you have caused great harm to my servants, and it is something I cannot forgive." Rainier was very scared and looked at Issy for help, but he just ignored her and hugged Asia's body tighter. Rias proceeded to throw a sphere of destruction, killing Rainier. Rias approached Issy and said to him, "Rias, I can reincarnate her into a demon, but I need her sacred gear." "Issy, but that fallen angel had it, and you destroyed it. Now there's no way for Asia to come back." "Logan, that's where you're wrong," Issy said it while throwing some green rings at her. "I took them from her when she was on the ground." "Issy, thanks, Logan." Rias proceeded to reincarnate Asia as a demon holding the bishop piece. When she finished, everyone went to their homes. Kaneko and Logan were at home in the living room hugging each other while thinking about their relationship. "Kaneko, thank you, senpai." "Logan, why?" "Kaneko, for being with me." Kaneko gave him a kiss and Logan reciprocated by hugging her waist while Kaneko hugged him by the neck. Chapter 9: The Forest of Relatives. In the previous chapter, Logan had fought against the fallen angels to save Asia. At the end of the fight, Asia was reincarnated as a demon, and everyone would retire to their homes to rest. In Kaneko's case, Kaneko was kissing Logan in a passionate way. Kaneko got on top of Logan, deepening the kiss further. Logan held her by the waist and turned around, putting Kaneko under him. So he proceeded to kiss Kaneko's neck, causing her to let out a few moans. Logan unbuttoned the top buttons of Kaneko's pajamas, leaving her small breasts exposed, which he began to massage while still kissing her neck. Kaneko gave louder moans. Logan would go down to Kaneko's breasts, starting to suck them. Kaneko, already lost in excitement, got on top of Logan and with one of her hands unbuttoned her pajamas, but before taking it off, Rias would appear in a magic circle without realizing what they were doing. "Rias, hey Kaneko, I was checking the contracts and I saw that you went up more than once." He couldn't finish when he saw how Kaneko had her pajamas unbuttoned and how she was on top of Logan. Blushing Rias, "I didn't see anything, keep on doing what you do." Rias left from there, leaving Logan and Kaneko blushing, and they just went to their room to sleep. The next day, Logan and Kaneko were at the academy in their classes. When the break bell rang, they went to the occult club since Rias wanted to talk about an important matter. When they arrived, they saw that all the members of the club were there. "Rias, well, since everyone is here, I want to tell you that we will go look for some relatives for Issy and Asia." "Logan, relatives?" "Kaneko, that's right, Logan-senpai, look." So Kaneko would show him a white cat which jumped from Kaneko's arms onto Logan's head and settled down. Then Kiba showed an eagle. Rias took out a small bat. Akino had taken out a small ogre. "Logan, wow, these are kind of interesting." "Asia, and very tender." "Issy, and when will we go look for those relatives?" Rias, today finishing classes. They all nodded and headed to their respective classrooms, leaving their relatives at the club. When classes ended, everyone was at the club ready to go to their relatives' forest, but they were interrupted by the student council. Sona, hello Rias. How have you been? Rias, Sona, what are you doing here? Asia, Issei-kun, who is she? Issei, this is Sona Citri, the student council president. Logan, so she's the student council president. Sona, well, I came to introduce you to my new piece. Thus a boy with medium gray hair and yellow eyes appeared. Upon entering, he introduced himself to everyone. Saji, hello Occult Club, my name is Saji, nice to meet you. Seeing Asia, he approached and tried to get ahead of her, but Issei and Logan stood in front of him with unfriendly faces. Saji annoyed, who do they think is interfering? Issei, I am Issei, bearer of the great Red Emperor Dragon. Logan, and I am Logan aka Wolverine. Sona, hey, you're the young man I ran into the other day. Rias, and they knew each other. Sona, yes, but I'd better tell you what I was planning to do. Logan had been pulled by the ear by Kaneko, who told him. Kaneko, because you didn't tell me that you already knew Sona Citri. Logan mockingly, are you jealous? Kaneko just pulled his ear further but then elbowed him in the stomach. Rias, so you're planning to go in search of a relative for your new piece. Sona, that's right, but I see you were planning to do the same. Rias, sure, that's what I'm proposing to you. How about we settle this in a competition? Sona, what about? Rias, what do you think about tennis? Sona, tomorrow at the same time. Just as in the original story, Rias and Akino would compete against Sona and Tsubaki in tennis, ending in a tie until it was settled with a game of dodgeball as in the original story, only with Logan as a spectator. When Rias' clan won, they went to the family forest and were greeted by a subject who said, Subject, welcome to the familiar forest. As some of you may know, I am the caretaker of this place. So tell me, which family do you want? Asia, I want a really nice one. Issei, and I want a very strong one. Caregiver, and you, young man? Logan, I'm just accompanying them. I didn't come for a relative. Caregiver, okay, come with me. So everyone walked for a while until Asia got her electric dragon and Issei wouldn't have his familiar, but they would continue walking to see if Issei could get his familiar. But they stopped when they saw a big white three-tailed wolf that was growing at them. Caretaker, it's an albino wolf. It's extremely rare and difficult to see in this place. Logan became interested in that wolf and slowly approached it. Putting his hand in front of the animal, the wolf sniffed it and lowered his head, letting Logan pet him. Caretaker, wow, it seems that wolf wants to be your familiar. Logan, I'll stay with him. The wolf, upon hearing that, began to lick Logan's face, tickling him, while everyone watched that with a smile. Logan, upon getting his familiar, decided to leave the familiar forest to rest in their homes, but they did not know that a person who called himself an immortal being was about to appear to get Rias' hand. While in another place there was a person with the appearance of a lion who said, Subject, now, hound, that will be your end. Saying that, he disappeared into the darkness while laughing evilly. Chapter 10, The Appearance of the Phoenix Clan. It had been 3 days since they went looking for their relatives, and everything had been calm, until they had finished as Issei, Asia and Logan were heading to the club, but they had heard that Rias was talking to someone, so they proceeded to enter, seeing Rias sitting next to a guy who was groping her. Logan, and who the hell is this? Kida, he is Razor Phoenix, heir to the Phoenix clan. Asia and Issei, what? Rias angrily, Razor, I've already told you 1,000 times that I'm not going to marry you. Razor, oh my dear Rias, you have no choice but to marry me. It's an order from our parents. Logan, seriously, it can't be. If she doesn't want to marry you, that's her decision. Annoying Razor, and who do you think you are to talk, miserable human? Logan, my name is Logan, asshole. Razor, well, I guess I should put you in your place, but I'm not going to get my hands dirty. He snapped his fingers and a circle of fire appeared, and a large group of girls came out. Issei, even you have his harem. Razor, go attack him, my tower. So a girl with a staff went to attack Logan, but he only held the staff and threw the girl against the wall, leaving her unconscious. Logan mockingly, "Hey, hiding behind women makes me think you're a useless braggart." Razor got very angry when he heard that and was going to attack Logan, who was going to take out his claws to slice him, but they were stopped by a woman wearing maid clothes. "Grafia, both of you stop now." Search's Sama thought this was going to happen, so he decided to settle this in a written game. "Rias, did my brother really say that?" "Garifia, that's right, Miss Rias." "Razor, ha, it's obvious who's going to be the winner since no one has been able to beat me in a written game." "Logan, you do have a big ego, you moron." "Grafia, the written game will be in 10 days, so we will get ready." So Grafia with the Phoenix clan. "Kiba, and now what are we going to do, President?" "Rias, I have a house in the forest, we could train there." "Aquino, then we have to go get our things quickly before leaving." So everyone went to get their things to go to the house in the forest. Time jump, everyone was climbing a mountain. "Issy, this is too much." "Kiba, come on Issy, it's not difficult to climb a mountain," he said, carrying a backpack a little bigger than Issy's. "Issy, it's easy for you, Kiba." "Kaneko, give me permission, Issy-senpai," she said this while carrying a backpack the size of a house. "Issy, but what the hell?" "Rias, come on guys, we're almost there." "Logan boy, they are slow." He said this while standing next to Rias. "Issy, what right do you have to say that, if you don't even have a bag?" "Logan, all I have is my academy uniform and this outfit I'm wearing." "Aquino, well, we have to hurry up so we can train." Saying that, everyone decided to pick up the pace, since when Logan arrived he would give them a very hard training which consisted of strength, speed, coordination, and teamwork. Time skip. 10 days had already passed and the Gremory clan was listening to the strategy that Logan was giving them in order to win, until Sona entered the club. "Rias, what are you doing here, Sona?" "Sona, I just came to tell you that I'm going to be the referee of the written game and also to wish you luck, Logan. Since you're not part of the Gremory clan, you'll have to accompany me." "Logan, it's okay. Take care of yourself, Kaneko," he said while looking at Kaneko. "Kaneko, I'll be fine, Logan-senpai." So both gave each other a passionate kiss, bringing a smile to those present except for Aquino, who looked at that with great hatred. "Sona, well, it's time for you to begin." So Logan and Sona would leave the place while the occult club prepared to start the reading game. Note: it will be like the original story, only that the Gremory clan would remain with all its pieces while the Phoenix would be with only 3. End of note. Rias, surrender. Razor, this is checkmate. Razor, how could they do this? Kaneko, thanks to Logan-senpai. Razor, ha ha ha, the good thing is that I have an ace up my sleeve. So Razor threw holy water at them that he had in a glass jar, causing great damage to the Gremory clan. But it didn't stop there, as Razor proceeded to give them a tremendous beating, while Rias's brother saw that with great hatred, but there was someone who was more than furious. Sona, calm down, Logan, please. Logan furious, that bastard, I swear I'll tear him to pieces. Sona, Logan, you can't intervene, Logan. Logan would try to calm down, but then he saw something that made Logan even angrier, since Kaneko was being held by the neck while she was shedding tears. Razor, I think I'll have some fun with you for a moment, shorty. So Razor would tear off a large part of her garment, leaving her in her underwear, and Razor proceeded to grope her. Logan furious, now that idiot already got a ticket. Saying that, Logan proceeded to enter the combat zone while growing like an enraged animal, which surprised Rias and Kiba, who were still conscious. Meanwhile, Razor felt some fear at having Logan in front of him. Logan, now, damn it, your time has come, he said it with a voice from beyond the grave. Chapter 11. A fight between immortals and the appearance of a familiar. Razor, he can't interfere, he's not part of the Gremory clan, that's cheating. Razor Queen, he's right. Searches, you guys cheated too, damn it, so he can intervene if he wants, and that's why now it will be a fight between your Razor and that young man. Razor and his clan were shocked to hear that. Searches, tell me, young man, what you wish for if you win this fight. Logan, Let that dwarf marry whoever the hell she wants, he said, pointing at Rias. Rias, hey, don't be too hard, she said, trying to get up. Searches, okay, young man, then he said, raising his hand and making some stands appear floating outside the battlefield. The Gremory, Citri, and Phoenix clans would appear in those stands. Rias proceeded to give them each a Phoenix tear so they could recover and wake up Issy, Asia, and Akino while Kaneko was still unconscious. But at that moment Rias' parents, Michael along with Gabriel and Azazel along with Penemu, had appeared, surprising the three clans. Searches, well, they are prepared. Razor would start to have some sparks coming out of his hands while Logan would take out his claws and clash them against each other, creating sparks. Searches, fight, he said it in Mortal Kombat style XD. Background music. Hearing that, Razor threw a large fireball at him, but Logan managed to dodge it and started running towards Razor, who only threw large fireballs at him that Logan managed to dodge and block, getting closer to his prey. Razor, seeing that, he made a fire sword and tried to block Logan's attack, who tried to dig his claws into Razor's face. Razor managed to block the attack with his fire sword, but Logan with one movement with his claws split Razor's sword in half, impressing everyone since that sword was almost impossible to break, and that Logan attacked Razor again while screaming, "Logan, Razor!" That was what he shouted while giving him a cut on his chest. Razor tried to hit him, but Logan had kicked him, making him step back and starting to beat him up. At that, Kaneko had woken up. "Kaneko, hey, what happened?" "Sona." Razor poured holy water on them and started beating them up until Logan stepped in. "Kaneko, what, my senpai? And where is he?" "Rias, there," he said, pointing to the battlefield. Kaneko looked and saw Logan running towards Razor while he did the same thing, throwing fireballs that Logan managed to block with his claws. Razor decided to take out two blades and Logan jumped, thus stabbing his claws into his chest while Razor stuck the blades into his upper stomach. Razor with a kick sent Logan flying, but he hung on a wall thanks to his claws. Then he did a pirouette, falling behind Razor while making a wound with his claws. Razor gave a cry of pain but was knocked down by a kick that sent him flying. Tsubaki, wow, that Logan is obviously an expert in hand-to-hand combat. Saji, and not only that, but it also seems that he has no mercy towards his enemies. Issy, not that you say it, once we had problems with some fallen angels, I killed them in a very disturbing way. Akino, I found it exciting, she said this while licking her fingers. Everyone who heard it was like, this girl is really crazy. Ravel's scared, it can't be. That animal can seriously hurt my brother. But he had received a slap from Kaneko, who had become angry at how they had said to Logan. Angry Kaneko, my senpai is not an animal, he is. But she was interrupted by Razor's screams. Everyone looked at the combat zone and saw how Razor was without an arm and with his face cut while Logan was regenerating from the burns that Razor gave him. Razor, damn, how can you regenerate like me? He said, trying to hit him with his remaining arm. Logan, my regeneration is much more advanced than yours, you unhappy one. He said this, cutting off his arm and kicking him to the ground. Razor, why can't I regenerate? Logan, your regeneration system has reached its limit, you will no longer be able to regenerate, this is the end of your miserable life. Logan was going to cut off Razor's head until Ravel intervened. Ravel, please don't kill my brothers. Logan, get out of here. Ravel, please don't kill him, I beg you. Logan, do you really love him, even after what does he do to you? Ravel, that's right. Logan, you got away from that kid, he said, putting away his claws. At that point a voice would be heard saying, Voice, wow brother, you've become very soft. Logan surprised, that voice, it can't be. Thus, a boy with black clothes, dark skin, fangs and claws would emerge from the shadows. Subject, how long has it been since we last saw each other, brother? Logan, Victor, what are you doing here? Everyone was shocked to see that guy, and even more so to hear that he was Logan's brother. Chapter 12, The Date and a Night of Passion. Logan was staring at his brother while he did the same with a mocking smile. This clash of gazes caused the temperature of the place to drop drastically, and an enormous pressure was felt in the place, causing everyone to start breathing with great difficulty. Searches, what is this enormous pressure? He said it with great difficulty. Azazel, I feel like I'm going to be sliced at any moment. He said this in the same situation as Xerxes. But then they both saw Michael standing there as if nothing had happened, causing the other two leaders to be surprised and angry at the same time. Both, you beggar pigeon, how come you don't feel this enormous pressure? They said it with a comically angry face. But what they didn't know is that Michael did feel that great pressure, but he didn't want to show it. XD. Kaneko, what's going to happen now? She said it with great difficulty. Rias, I don't know, Kaneko. Maybe a normal brother and sister meeting. But that idea went away when she saw how Victor lengthened his nails while Logan took out his claws. Issei, I don't think she's going to be president. Saying that, Issei, Victor and Logan began to head towards each other, both colliding, leaving Logan below and Victor above, but Logan kicked him in the stomach, sending him flying, jumping up and running to where Victor fell. When he got up, he was slammed against a garbage container while they stared at each other. Victor, are you done? Logan, are you done yet? They both looked at each other with a very sharp look, but after a few minutes they both started laughing, leaving those present very confused. Logan, nice to see you again, bro. Victor, same here, little brother. Everyone shocked. What does all this mean? After a brief explanation, the leaders of the three factions were talking to Victor, while the three clans were talking to each other and Logan and Kaneko were talking. Kaneko, Logan-senpai, I would like to ask you something. She said it with a big blush. Logan, sure, Kaneko. Kaneko, would you like to go on a date with me? She said with a big blush, making Rias's hair look ridiculous. Logan with a slight blush, sure, Kaneko. How about tomorrow? Victor, wow bro, it seems like this girl has you under control, ha 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 ha. Logan was going to say something to Victor but saw how he flew away thanks to a blow from Kaneko, who was very angry with an aura that demanded blood. Kaneko, I'm not a child, and if you bother my Logan-senpai again, I'm going to give you a beating that will mark you for life. Those words made everyone shiver and were terrified by the little Nekomata's words. When the battle was over, everyone left the dimension where the battle took place, leaving Victor in the club. The next morning, Logan was seen wearing a black t-shirt, a gray leather jacket, jeans and dress shoes. He looked like he was waiting for someone, but then he heard the door of the house opening and saw that it was Kaneko, who was wearing a white dress, white sneakers and a denim sweater. Kaneko, and how do I look, Logan-senpai? She said with a blush. Logan, you look very beautiful, Kaneko. He said it with a blush. So they both left their house and headed to a restaurant to get something to eat. Waiter, welcome, young people. What can I help you with? Logan, I'll get some rice and a steak. Kaneko, my sushi accompanied by a seafood soup. Waiter, I'll bring you your orders right away, young man. So the waiter left, leaving the young couple, who began to talk about trivial things, until they brought their orders and began to eat. When they finished, they went to different places to eat ice cream, to watch a movie, and went to the amusement park where Logan won a stuffed animal in the shape of a white cat from Kaneko. Finally, Logan covered Kaneko's eyes. Kaneko, Logan-senpai, where are you taking me? Logan, it's a surprise, my beautiful star. Kaneko blushed at that but decided to wait for Logan to let her see. After a few minutes, Logan uncovered Kaneko's eyes, who was amazed to see the great landscape as they were in a large field of beautiful flowers. Kaneko, Logan-senpai, seriously, this is beautiful, she said it very amazed. Logan, it's not over yet. At that the moonlight brightened more, making the lake shine brightly, but how surprised Kaneko was that there were some crystals that when lit up said something that left Kaneko impressed. Will you marry me? When Kaneko turned around, she saw Logan kneeling with a ring that had a beautiful diamond. Logan, and what do you say, my beautiful star? Kaneko couldn't process what was happening until she lunged at Logan, giving him a deep kiss which Logan reciprocated. They lasted a few minutes until they separated, leaving a trail of saliva. Logan, I think it's a yes, putting the ring on Kaneko. Kaneko just agreed and they both retired to their house. Upon arriving, Kaneko closed the door and grabbed Logan's hand, taking him to the room, giving him a very passionate kiss while she climbed on top of her legs. Lemon skipped. So they both came at the same time, both falling on the bed, while Logan grabbed a blanket to cover himself, falling asleep very tired while the moonlight shone in the room where they showed each other their love. Chapter 13. A Painful Separation. A week has passed since Kaneko and Logan's date and marriage proposal. Now these two were seen in different clothing stores. Logan was accompanied by Kiba, Issei and Victor while they bought a suit for the wedding. Issei, why does it take so long? Kiba, calm down, Issei is probably a little nervous. Issei, the truth is I'm also a little nervous and I don't know why. Victor, you're already imagining your wedding, right? Issei wouldn't say anything and would just lower his head while a small blush was noticeable as a sign of embarrassment, making Kiba and Victor laugh, but they would be interrupted by Logan, who would come out in a somewhat elegant suit. Choose the suit. Logan, and what do you think? Kiba, you look great, buddy. Victor, I never thought I'd see my little brother getting ready for his wedding. He said it with tears in anime style. That scene made the three people present laugh nervously, so Logan proceeded to put away the suit and go pay for it, and leave the store accompanied by his friends and brother. Meanwhile, in another store, Rias and Asia were seen talking while waiting for a certain white-haired girl. Asia, hey President, where's Akino? Rias, he said he had something to do and that's why he didn't eat. Asia, I see. But they were interrupted by Kaneko, who came out of the fitting room in a beautiful dress. Kaneko, and how does that make me look, President? Rias, Kaneko suits you well. Asia, I send you Kaneko LOL. So the three girls would leave the store with the dress already paid for and head to the club. While at the club, Logan was seen arriving at the club leaving his things on the table, while he waited for the others since Victor had to go somewhere with Kiba and Issei. Logan thinking, wow, I'm so happy, I've never felt this way before. But he was taken out of his thoughts by hands that hugged him while a small laugh was heard, which was from Akino, who would only be wearing a white coat. Akino, era, but look who we have here, it's none other than the boyfriend. Logan would get rid of her while a great anger was noticeable on his face. Logan annoyed, what do you think you're doing, Himejima? Akino, well, I'm a little jealous of Kaneko and I'd like to know what she noticed about you. She said this while running one of her fingers over her chest. Logan, you're crazy if you think I'm going to cheat on the woman I love the most, he said, pushing Akino away. Akino, well, you're going to do it whether you want to or not. Saying that, she blew some shiny powder on him, which was a love spell. Logan would hold his head while trying not to fall under the spell. Akino would be surprised to see how Logan resisted her spell, but would take advantage of that moment of distraction to knock Logan down on the couch and get on top of him. Akino, now that brat will pay me everything she owes me. By saying that, he would implant a kiss on her, which left Logan very shocked and angry, but unfortunately for him the entire club would enter along with Victor, who upon seeing that scene would show great anger on their faces, while Kaneko would start to cry running out of the club. Logan, seeing that Akino would get off of him, but would receive a couple of slaps from Rias and Asia. Rias, damn you, how dare you do that to my little girl? Asia, Logan-san, I never thought you were like this. Issei, you are a bastard. Kiba, and I thought you were a good guy, but I saw I was wrong. Logan, guys, this isn't what it looks like. Victor, you disappoint me, bro. I never thought you were one of those people who did this kind of crap. Logan, please let me speak. Rias, get out of here. I don't want to see you near this place, much less Kaneko. Logan would just run off in search of Kaneko, leaving everyone very angry and Akino regretful of what she did. Logan was running to get to Kaneko's house, but when he arrived he was not received very well. Kaneko, what do you want, you damn mess? Logan, let me explain to you what happened. He said this with a few small tears in his eyes. Kaneko, I don't want you to explain anything to me, I just want you to get out of my life, she said while throwing the engagement ring at him. Logan crying, please Kaneko, it's not what it seems. Kaneko, I don't want to know anything else, now get out. Saying that, he slammed the door shut, leaving Logan on his knees as he cried. Logan, Kaneko, please, I love you, he screamed with great pain in his heart. Seeing that he received no response, he decided to go into the forest so he could think of what to say. The next day, Kaneko was seen waking up with very red eyes as she was crying all night incessantly over what had happened at the club. But she would put that aside and go for a walk to clear her mind. Logan was in a cave looking at the ring with tears falling from his cheeks. Logan, today I'm going to make Kaneko listen to me and understand why that happened. Saying that, he dried his tears and headed to the city to look for Kaneko, while she was sitting in a park watching the other couples as they were smiling and having a good time. That would make Kaneko start crying, causing a certain brown-haired boy to hear and go quickly to the place. Issei, Kaneko, what are you doing here? But the brown-haired boy would not receive an answer, and would be hugged by Kaneko, who would begin to cry louder. Kaneko, I can't believe Logan did that to me. Issei, it seems like he was just tricking us. Don't worry, Kaneko, you'll see that there will be someone who values you. Kaneko, upon hearing those words, would stare at Issei, making the brunette nervous. Issei, what's going on? He couldn't finish when he was kissed by Kaneko, who surprised the brunette, but he didn't take long to reciprocate, but that action would leave Logan devastated, who would be watching that from some bushes. The only thing Logan could do was leave there while tears ran down his face. Chapter 14: The Truth and the Disappearance of the Supernatural Children. It's been 5 months since what happened with Logan and Kaneko. Wolverine disappeared without a trace or a clue as to where he went, while the occult club along with Victor decided to move on, thus the events of Kokobile occurring, but after finishing that hard battle and Zenovia joining the club. A large number of disappearances of children from the 3 factions were reported, thus investigating the case the Gremry, Citri, and Phoenix clans. Kaneko was in a relationship with Issei, but she didn't feel the same as with Logan, and deep down she felt that she had done something wrong, until one day the truth of the accident between Logan and Akino was revealed. Everyone from the Gremry clan along with Victor were gathered at the club to talk about the progress of the missing children, but it was noticeable that Akino was very nervous, and some small tears were beginning to fall. Akino, I can't take it anymore, she said it while crying. Rias, what's wrong, Himejima? She said, somewhat impressed by the attitude of her queen and friend. Akino, I can't keep hiding this anymore. Asia, what do you mean? Akino, what happened 5 months ago with Logan? Angry Kaneko, that's more than clear, he cheated on me and you took him away from me. But she would receive a slap from Akino, who would be crying more, surprising everyone. Victor, what's wrong? He said it with clear anger. Akino, I want you to see what really happened. Saying that, she formed a magic circle in which she would show everything that had happened. Everyone was crying because they saw that Logan was not to blame for what happened between him and Akino, but the most affected was Kaneko, who got on her knees and began to cry with all her might. Kaneko crying, I'm stupid, because I didn't listen to him. I let go of the only man who made me feel alive, the only man who truly loved me. Zenovia would hug her, trying to comfort her, while everyone in the club would be crying because of how they treated Logan without even listening to him. Meanwhile, in another place far from Japan, more specifically in New York, a lot of blood and mutilated bodies were seen in a warehouse. The cry of a man asking for mercy could be heard while he was being massacred by a shadow that seemed to be wearing torn black clothes that managed to cover his face a little. Dealer, please don't kill me. Subject, if you don't want me to kill you, you'll tell me everything I want to know. Dealer, it's okay. Subject, where do they keep those children they've been kidnapping? Dealer, I don't know what you mean. But his arm had been cut by claws, causing him to let out a loud cry of pain. Subject, don't play with me, bastard. Drug dealer, okay, I'll tell you, those children that look like they are angels, fallen angels and demons, they are captured by a creature that my boss had created. Subject, and what do they want with those children? Dealer, rumor has it that he takes away their powers and wants to combine them somehow. Subject, and where do I find them? Drug dealer, at a base off the coast of Japan. The base is called Mutant Island. That's all, I swear. Subject, if I see that you are lying to me, I will find you and tear your eyes out. Saying this, he put away his claws and walked away from the place, but stopped when he felt the presence of another person and turned around quickly, only to see how the dealer was being brutally murdered by a creature a little bigger than him, with long claws, big muscles, and had a human face while holding a child with red hair and blue eyes. Surprising the subject a little since he was Rias Gremery's nephew. Subject: it seems that you are that being that kidnaps the children of the three factions. The monster wouldn't say anything and would only make a roar as he released the unconscious child. The subject would take out his claws, putting himself in a boxing-type fight pose. The monster would lunge at the subject, giving a scratch, removing his hood, showing the identity of the subject, which was Logan, only that his hair was a little shorter like his beard. Logan would only take off his hood, showing that he was wearing a leather jacket, jeans, a red shirt, and a pair of engagement rings hanging around his neck. Logan: it seems that you don't want to talk, then it will be the bad way, he said, taking out his claws that for some strange reason they were brighter and a little longer. The monster and Logan lunged at each other, starting to fight and slashing each other. Logan had the advantage thanks to his speed, agility, and experience in hand-to-hand combat. The monster slashed him in the chest, causing a lot of damage. The monster took advantage of the distraction to slash him again, but Logan barely dodged it, kicking him back. Milikas would begin to wake up seeing that he was tied up, then he would look everywhere until he focused on the fight, surprised that Logan was holding a fight against the monster since not even his father or the other leaders could even tickle him. In the fight, Logan would be sent flying by a blow from the monster, thus crashing into a wall, destroying it. The monster would grab him by the neck, throwing him to the ground, abruptly forming a small crater. Logan would give him a strong kick, then give him a cut on the chest, but the monster would kick him a lot of blood. Logan would dig his claws into the monster's stomach, making him vomit blood. The monster would hit him in the face, sending him flying. Logan would get up in a somersault, and then pounce on the monster again, giving him a cut on his cheek. The monster would get angry, thus giving him a big blow to the stomach, sending him flying. Logan would put his claws on the ground to avoid going back further. The monster would cut him with his claws, but Logan would get ahead of him, giving him 2 cuts on the chest, so the monster got on his knees very tired. But just when Logan was going to give him the coup de grace, they would shoot him some tranquilizer darts, knocking him to the ground. Logan would have blurry vision, but would identify a very familiar figure for him. Logan with difficulty: Straker? Saying that, he fell unconscious and was taken away by men wearing masks, just like the child. Chapter 15: The Island. It's been 2 months since the battle between Logan and the monster, and since then all the faction leaders searched relentlessly, since they were not only looking for the children who had disappeared, but they were also looking for the son of the leader of the underworld. Milikas and the queen of the yokais had also joined the search since her daughter had also been kidnapped. Everyone searched relentlessly, but a certain white-haired Nekomata only focused on finding Logan. Kaneko worried. "Where are you, Logan-senpai? Please forgive me for having heard that. Come back, I beg you," she said while running through a forest while crying. At the club, the 3 demon clans were seen together with Victor talking about the situation. "Rias, every day this situation gets worse. Sona, more and more children are disappearing and the disappearances have become more frequent." "Razor, you're right, but why would they need the children?" "Aquino, I understand that supernatural children have more power than us." "Ravel, I see, but I don't understand how they can escape without us being able to track them." "Tsubaki, not even the yokai faction can track them." "Asia, by the way, where's Kaneko-chan?" "Rias, ever since we found out what happened between Aquino and Logan, she's been relentlessly searching for Logan-kun." "Zenobia, what's so special about that Logan?" "Victor, my brother is a very strong guy. He can even surpass the faction leaders, even me." Zenobia was more than impressed since there was someone who was even stronger than her master. "Kiba, and he's also the only one who would know what to do in these types of cases." "Aquino, this was all my fault. If I hadn't been obsessed with making Kaneko suffer, none of this would have happened," she said, starting to shed a few tears. "Rias, you didn't know what was going to happen. Friend, calm down. It was our fault for not listening to him." "Victor, he was my brother, and instead of being there to help him, I left him alone." "Asia, I want my Ani-chan back," she said while being hugged by Issei, who also had a sad face. Everyone remembering Logan became very sad and sorry for what they had done to Logan. Meanwhile, on an island not far from the coast of Japan, there was an island that looked like a nuclear plant. Screams of small children could be heard, and in the deepest part of the plant, in one of the cells that are found deep in the nuclear plant, there was a certain mutant tied with chains while there was a lot of blood around him. Logan, I never thought that one day I would find myself in these conditions, he said while looking through some bars that showed the sea. I would have liked to be with Kaneko, but at least she will be happy with Issei. As he said that, tears began to fall while he had a sad look. But he was interrupted by the sound of the door opening, revealing a bald scientist. White glasses, a scientist's coat, and he was accompanied by the creature that kidnapped the supernatural children. Wow, Wolverine, it seems like you're remembering something, or rather someone. Logan, I never thought you were still going through with your plans of wanting to make the perfect weapon, Straker. The subject, already recognized as Straker, only gave a smile to the answer of his experiment. Straker, I think we better continue with the screaming, he said, taking out a case with many knives. But before beginning the torture, he was interrupted by a young white-haired man, dressed in black and with blue and white wings. Straker, what are you doing here, Vala? Vala, remember that it's my turn to torture him. Straker, all right, Vala, you've earned it by giving us information about the facts and also by your help with the collection of the supernatural children. Saying that, he left the place, leaving Vala and Logan alone. Vala, I think we better start with the fun, he said, taking out a glove similar to Issei's. Logan, so you are the great bearer of the White Dragon Emperor. Valley, I am Vala Lucifer, the bearer of Albion, and from now on I proclaim you as my toy, he said, starting to hit Logan. While in the cell next door there were two children, a red-haired boy and an orange-haired girl, listening to their best friend being beaten. Kunu, Milikas, do you think I can resist those tortures any longer? She said this, beginning to shed many tears. Milikas, I trust that he will be able to withstand all this damage and get us out of this place. He said this, trying not to hear the blows they were giving Logan and the psychopathic laughter of the White Dragon while Logan was being beaten, and trying to come up with a plan to escape from that place and take all the supernatural children. Chapter 16: The Escape. It's been 2 weeks since Vala began torturing Wolverine, but every time he went it was an opportunity for Logan to escape, since that way he was able to get information from him about the island, how they could make their escape routes, and how many children they had locked up. Now, with enough information and fed up with Vala, Logan proceeded to start his plan. Logan, well, I'll have to wait for that bastard to put my plan into action. Saying that, Vala came in with some knives. Vala, shall we continue with our game? Wolverine began to free his arm without Vala noticing. Valley, I tell you something, sometimes I wonder how you have all that power, but you're not that big of a deal. Saying that, he approached Logan, but Logan quickly sank his claws into Vala's chest. Wolverine, you don't know anything about me, I'm one of those people who are too stubborn to accept their end. Saying that, he dug his claws in deeper but didn't realize that a certain white dragon had taken advantage of that to transfer itself into Logan's body, thus killing Vala. Logan broke his bonds and proceeded to leave the place, running all over the place, killing all the men and monsters he found. While with Straker, he was in a laboratory accompanied by his creation until the alarms went off. Straker, Logan, he said while giving a small smile, go for him and decapitate him. The monster listened and left the place in search of Wolverine to kill him. With Logan, he was in a hallway running while several soldiers shot at him, but Logan killed them without hesitation until he reached a laboratory. Wolverine opened the door and saw something that angered him. It was Milika's handcuffed, while they had Kunu tied to a stretcher, and with a device in her head that tried to absorb her magic. Wolverine proceeded to cut Milika's ties and free Kunu, carrying her in his arms. Loga, we have to get out of here. Milika's, wait, we have to free the others. Logan, where are they? Milika started running in one direction, while Logan followed him. But they were seen by Straker, who was in the security room. Straker, they're in the prisoner's room. Don't let them escape, he said this to a communicator while the monster nodded and began to head towards the place. Logan and Milika's, upon arriving, could see all the supernatural children who were tied up and unable to use their magic. Logan, take care of her, he said while handing Kunu over. Fast forward to second 48 and stop at minute 123. Logan watched as the young supernatural beings began to help the others try to get out of their cells. Milikas would approach Logan while he watched him. Logan just agreed as if to continue like that, everyone heading to the back of the island, but in that from above it would look like the monster that had captured them jumping and staying in front of them. Logan, okay. Milikas, get them out of here. Milikas, but... Logan, take this, it will take you to the exit, he said, giving her a map with several addresses, but some pointed to different exits. So all the kids left, leaving Logan alone with that monster. Logan, alright moron, let's continue where we left off, he said while taking out his claws. So both were going to start the second round while the children tried to find a way out of that hellish prison. Chapter 17: The Destruction of the Island. Logan and the monster stared at each other, but then the children's screams were heard. Logan went to help him, but the monster hit him so hard that he flew against a wall. Logan quickly got up and saw that the monster was heading in his direction at great speed. Logan, alright, silly. Let's start with the rematch, he said, launching himself against the monster to start their fight. With the children, they were taking cover from the attacks of the creatures that Straker had created. They slowly approach to capture them, but then Kunu wakes up observing that she did not have a necklace, so she uses her magic to exterminate them. Milikas, thank you, Kunu. Kunu, now let's go before more arrive. Saying that, everyone started running to leave that place. With Logan, he was still fighting with the monster, but in a moment of carelessness by Logan, the monster would give him a powerful blow that would send him flying, knocking down the hangar doors and thus sending him outside. With the children, they had gotten lost and also lost the map after the monsters attacked, but Militias would hear a voice in his head. Go to the left. Milikas left. Kunu, what? Milikas on the left. Kid 1, are you sure? Milikas, believe me. Saying that, he grabbed Kunu and started running while the other children followed them. With Logan, he was climbing what appeared to be a landing tower while the monster watched him. But what neither of them knew was that they were being watched by 4 people who had a grudge against Wolverine. Now we go to the underworld. We can see the leaders of the factions along with their respective clans talking about the disappearance of the children, but a certain albino was not paying attention to the meeting since she was only thinking about her senpai, but that would open a gap of how a gothic loli would come out. Oh, Office, they said, somewhat shocked. Office, they seem to have a lot of problems. Searches, how do you know? Office, please, do you really think I'm stupid? Saying that, a group of people came out of the gap, but Kaneko put on a serious face when she saw a certain black-haired girl. Searches, do you know anything about the children, Office? Office, that's right, and also about a certain person you're looking for, white-haired girl. Kaneko was confused by that, but they watched as Office made a magic circle and in it showed a certain mutant climbing a landing tower. Victor, but it's Jimmy. Kaneko, senpai, she said, shedding many tears. With Logan, he was already at the top of the tower and turned to see the monster that was still on the ground. Logan, let's see if you can come here, he said, making a movement with his hands, provoking him. At that, the monster made a great leap, getting behind Logan. Logan, take me. As he said this, he tried to attack the monster, but it blocked its attack and dug its claws into Logan's chest. Both began to exchange cuts until the monster grabbed him by the neck and threw him to the ground before digging his claws into his chest. In the underworld, everyone didn't want to see what was sure to happen, but the albino only cried as she would witness the death of her beloved senpai. In the fight, Logan tried to pull the monster's claws out, but he raised his other hand ready to decapitate Logan, who, already resigned, waited for his end while those in the underworld only saw that. Kaneko, "No, senpai," she screamed as she watched the claw go to her neck. But then someone pushed the monster, causing it to fall next to Logan, but he was held by someone he never expected to see. Well, did you forget that I'm the only one who can kill you, Bloodhound?" "Logan, Leonidas?" he asked, shocked. "Leonidas, wow, you hound, you still remember me," he said while picking him up. But then he would hear another voice that in itself made him want to die. "Have you forgotten that we also have the right to kill him, Leonidas?" Leonidas, wow, how delicate Red Omega is. Logan only saw the people who wanted to see his head roll the Weapon X team. "Logan, I must be dreaming. Lady Distrake, To your misfortune no gonchi pero. Deadpool, Lobby my friend, how have you been? He asked as he approached to give him a hug but stopped suddenly when he felt something on his man parts. Do you have your claws on my penis? Logan, that's right, if you get any closer I'll cut that part off. Red Omega, leave that aside, we have visitors, he said seriously. In that they see how the floor of the platform cracked until the much larger and stronger monster came out for a third round. Chapter 18 Season Finale. Logan and the Weapon X team were staring at the monster as it ran towards them with the intention of attacking. Deadpool, Lobby, you're the one who has the most experience with that ugly guy, so give the orders. Logan remains silent and waits for the monster's first move. Already a few centimeters away, the creature is about to sink its claws, but everyone moves to avoid the attack. Logan, Leonidas tries to take him down. Red Omega grabs him and electrocutes the bastard, Lady. He was unable to finish as Letty Destrake interrupted him by cutting him in the face. Lady, don't tell me what to do, Gonchi dog. Saying that, he headed to the attack while the others did what Logan said. Deadpool, poor little Lobby, but don't worry, I'm here to help. He couldn't finish as he pushed Logan him, causing him to fall off the tower. Deadpool, hey Ryder, why did you do that? Ryder, because it's my bucking FIC and I do whatever the buck I want with you since you're in it. Deadpool, son of a. Ryder, let's continue. Logan pulled out his claws and headed to attack the monster while the others were having trouble with it. In the underworld, everyone watched this in total amazement, but a certain albino loli was very worried about our favorite mutant. Searches, this is extremely incredible. Yasaka, but where could the children they took be? At that, Michael made another magic circle, and in it he showed all the children being guided by Kunu and Milikas. Kunu, wait, it can't be this way, she said, stopping the red-haired boy. Milikas, it's this way. Kunu, how do you know? Milikas, I just know we're leaving. So everyone continued running to find the exit, being seen by their parents in the Gremory Castle. Azazel, where is your son Xerxes taking them? Xerxes, I don't know. But then they heard something like someone crash into something, watching as Logan was sent flying towards a helicopter. Kaneko, senpai, she said, very worried. In the fight, Logan crashed into the helicopter, and Red Omega was sent flying with a blow, taking Lady with him and both falling from a tower. Leonidas tried to hit him, but the monster grabbed him by the head and began to crash him into the ground, leaving him unconscious. Logan, how I miss Hulk's punches, he said as he watched the monster approach him. The monster grew its claws and was going to decapitate Wolverine while everyone in the Gremory Castle watched helplessly since they could not make a magic circle to go to that place and help him. And when the monster was going to decapitate him, Deadpool appeared and began to shoot him, causing him to back away. Deadpool, ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, he said while shooting. The monster was going to hit him, but Red Omega appears next to Letty and grabs the monster's claw, starting to electrocute it. Logan, what took you so long, moron? Deadpool, well, it's a long fall, Lobby. I'm grateful that the creator of this FIC gave me wings to climb quickly. Logan, what the buck are you talking about? Leonidas, don't argue with the idiot, you know how he is. Logan, you're right. Why start an argument that won't make any sense? Deadpool, you hurt me, Lobby. At that, Leonidas quickly goes to the monster and sinks his claws into his stomach. The monster tried to attack, but Logan took advantage of that and cut off his head, shocking everyone. But without remaining satisfied, he kicked it, causing it to fall to the ground while you could see how the place began to destroy itself, and a shield began to fade away. Yasaka, we can transport ourselves there now. Rias, well, let's go now. Saying that, everyone made a magic circle and teleported to the island. While on the island, the Weapon X team reunites and stars at Logan. Logan, this doesn't change things between us, he said, staring at them. Everything stays the same. Red Omega, of course, Wolf. Leonidas, that's what we live for, Bloodhound. Lady, so you better take care of yourself from now on, Logan-san. Deadpool, see you later, Lobby. Saying that, they all jumped to disappear into the dust. Logan noticed that the tower was about to fall, so he decided to jump too, he stopped as he fell, making a small crater as well as some damage. He noticed that the tower was going to fall on top of him, so he was going to move quickly, but then he saw someone hit the structure, sending it flying somewhere else. Logan didn't know what was happening until he heard the voice of the person he gave his heart to. "Kaneko, senpai," she said as she began to approach Logan. He quickly got up and began to back away, but then the others appeared in front of him. With the children, they had already left the facilities, but then they saw in front of them a helicopter that looked like it had just landed, and out came a man in a wheelchair, bald and smiling. "Don't worry, Milikas, everything will be fine. My name is Charles Xavier, and I am a mutant just like Logan," he said it mentally. "Milikas, I hear your thoughts," he said it mentally as well. "Charles, yes, and I have yours," he said it mentally. "They are safe. Come on, we have to get out of here." "Milikas, let's go with him," he said, starting to run with the other children to get into the helicopter. With Logan, he stared at the leaders, Vala SX team, the Gremory clan, Citri, Phoenix, Ophis, and Victor. "Logan, don't you think you're already a little late?" "Searches, then you start with your jokes." "Azazel, where are the children?" "Logan, they must have managed to escape, they're very clever." At that point, a certain white-haired girl began to approach Logan while several tears came out of her eyes. "Kaneko, senpai made me happy that this." He didn't get to finish as Logan turned around and started walking. "Kaneko, senpai, where are you going?" Logan ignored him and continued walking until he was stopped by his brother. "Victor, Jimmy, aren't you interested in what Kaneko has to say?" he asked seriously, drawing everyone's attention. "Logan, that's right, Victor, I'm no longer interested in what you have to say. Issei, after finding out what really happened between you and Akino, she was searching for you non-stop." "Asia, does that not mean anything to you anymore?" she asked, about to cry. Logan didn't answer and just kept walking. "Victor, Jimmy, I'm calling your brother, we can't let you go." Logan just ripped off the chain that had the rings and threw them in front of them, shocking everyone but making Kaneko cry as she felt her heart stop beating as she watched her mutant leave. "Victor, Jimmy," he said with a broken voice. "Jimmy," he shouted, already shedding some tears like the entire Gremory clan, while the others just put on a face full of sadness. And so Logan disappeared into the rubble and dust of the place, leaving behind his friends and family, but also a devastated Kaneko who regretted not having listened to him when she should have. Chapter 1 Season 2. It's been 4 years since the last time the Occult Club, and since then things have changed drastically. First there was the case of the children who, upon being rescued by Charles Xavier, attended a school that was located in the middle of a beautiful forest in the United States, New York. The parents, upon knowing this, went to that place and were surprised to find that it was a huge, very beautiful and spacious mansion. They decided to enter, and upon doing so they saw all the children walking around the big mansion while carrying some books and others some projects. Everyone didn't understand what was happening until a certain red-haired boy and a certain yokai princess appeared. "Milikas, hey, what are you doing here?" "Zeechas, well, we came to get you out of here," he said, drawing everyone's attention. "Kunu, but we don't want to leave." "Yasaka, it's obvious that they were brainwashed, so their daughter reacts," she said while slapping Yasaka comically. Unhell angel boy, but they haven't brainwashed us." Kato, maybe they didn't see the messages we sent them." All the older demons just put on a poker face since they had never read their children's messages. "Angel One, but tell me, who is the person in charge here?" At that point, a slightly older, bald man in a wheelchair appeared while several children stepped aside to let him pass. "Good afternoon, my name is Charles Xavier. Tell me, what can I help you with?" I asked politely. "Fallen One, we want to know why you keep our children locked up here?" he said with some anger. "Charles, you are wrong, sir, they are not locked up. If you look closely, they are walking all over the mansion and even outside of it." Demon One, but why didn't he bring them back when he had saved them? "Charles, because I gave them the opportunity to choose whether to go with you or stay to learn to better control their powers and learn values that will help them move on with their lives." Yokai One, what is this place? "Charles, this place is a home for those with extraordinary gifts. If you look closely, there are all the races they know, and among them mutants. Graphia, but is this place safe for them? Charles, I understand your concern, Miss Graphia, but this place is equipped with the best security system there is. Azazel, wow, really? Could you show me? Charles, no, he said, making Azazel feel a cloud of depression. Now follow me. Charles guided the parents of the supernatural children through the entire mansion, showing them the classrooms, bedrooms, the patio where they could relax, the infirmary room, and also the levels where the training room and a hangar were. When Azazel saw the lower levels, he really wanted to stay there to play with all the inventions that Charles was showing him. The parents, upon seeing the entire great mansion and observing that their children were fine there, decided to leave it like that and leaving their children in good hands. Since then 4 years passed, which were a great wonder for them, but the occult club did not have the same time as them, since during those 4 years they were looking for Logan to be able to recover their friendship/brotherhood, but the one who looked for him the most was Kaneko, who now the only thing she wanted was to see her true love married, who had even rejected several marriage proposals, saying that she was all ready, and showed the engagement ring that Logan had given her a long time ago. But every day that passed without him was torture for her. She no longer ate well, she no longer slept. She was very cold with all the people around her, and she even stopped going to very important meetings of the factions, making her friends/companions worry about her, a mistake that had cost them a lot. Meanwhile, in Mexico City, a certain mutant with a brown hair was in a bar drinking coffee while thinking about a certain white-haired girl. Logan, 7 years and I still can't get her out of my head. Albion, mate, why don't you try to rebuild your life? He said mentally. Logan, it's not as easy as it sounds, Albion, he said, the same as his tenant. Albion, do you still love her, mate? Logan, yes, Albion, I still love her, but I can't forget the pain she caused me that day, he said, remembering the day when Kaneko had kissed Issei Hayato with great passion, who was possibly her new rival. I can't forget it, he said, shedding a tear. Chapter 2, Season 2. It was night and many cars could be seen driving on the highway, but among the cars we can see Logan traveling on his motorcycle. He didn't have a specific direction, he just wanted to get away from everyone. The brown-haired boy was driving while remembering all the moments he spent with Kaneko until the moment of the kiss he shared with Issei. After remembering that, he lost control of the motorcycle and fell off a cliff. Logan, bad damn, he said while regenerating. Albion, wow, buddy, now you've got quite a hit. Logan, don't even mention it, Albion, he said, standing up. Albion, you can't forget her, right? Logan, I can't, Albion. No matter how hard I try, she's still there, he said, shedding many tears because I had to listen to Stark, because I had to go to the tower that day. Albion, mate, please calm down, you'll see that everything will be okay. Logan, I wish Albion were like this. But then they heard screams and Logan decided to go to where they were. When they arrived, they saw a girl with Asian features, black hair, white skin, and unparalleled beauty. Logan watched as she was surrounded by several men who had lustful looks and had knives. Please leave me alone. Subject 1. I'm sorry, honey, but we don't see big beauties like you very often around here. Subject 2. How about you have some fun with us? He said, grabbing her by the straps. Let me go, he said, trying to get out of the grip. Subject 3. You are quite a warrior, he said as he put his knife to his neck, and I like that. Logan, then you're going to like me, he said, turning him around and punching him in the face. Subject 4. Damn, he said to try to stab him. Logan took out his claws and began to defend himself from the subjects while the girl looked at him in amazement. But then she remembered a Japanese legend about a being that was neither man nor beast that fought against any creature without fearing anything or anyone. Kazuri, it was the only thing she said while watching Logan slaughter the subjects. After a few minutes, Logan could be seen covered in blood while some of the cuts on his body closed. He was calming down until Albion spoke to him in his mind. Albion, dude, I don't know if you did it on purpose or you forgot. Logan, what do you mean, Albion? Albion, wailed the girl. At that, Logan turned to look at the girl who was still on the ground while she had a serious face but at the same time a little scared. Logan, seeing that, he turned around and started walking until he was stopped by the girl. Wait, tell me who you are. Logan, my name is Logan, he said dryly, and what is your name? My name is Mariko Yashida. Logan, nice to meet you, Mariko, he said, and then continued walking. Mariko, where are you going? Logan, nowhere in particular. Mariko, you can come with me. Logan, why are you asking me that? We barely know each other. Mariko, because I have seen a great pain in your eyes, as if you were suffering for someone, she said, making Logan shed a small tear. Let me help you. Logan was a little surprised. He didn't know what to say until he heard Albion's voice. Albion, mate, go with her, he said mentally. Logan, why should Albion? Albion, first, because he wants to help you, second, because it would be an opportunity to forget about that girl, and third, so he can have a place to rest. Logan thought about it for a few minutes and finally agreed to go with the Japanese girl. Mariko, seeing that the brown-haired boy was willing to go with her, smiled, and they began to walk for a few minutes until they reached a small cabin. Logan, is this where you live? Mariko, it's just temporary, she said with a smile, or do you just not like it? Logan, it's not that, it's just that I thought you lived in the city and not here in the middle of the forest. Mariko, I like to be in places like this, full of peace and tranquility. Logan, that makes two of us. But what they didn't know was that they were being watched by a certain mutant in a wheelchair who just smiled, since he had already found what he was looking for. Charles, I finally found you, Logan, he said while he was connected to a device and was accompanied by Milikas and Kunu. Chapter 3 Season 2. It's been 6 days since Logan saved Mariko, and since then things between the two have been going pretty well, since they both had things in common besides the fact that Mariko was very fond of him, which was growing more and more. Logan had also started to have feelings for Mariko to the point of forgetting what he felt for Kaneko, but he didn't dare to confess it for fear of being hurt again. Present, we can see Mariko picking some fruit while Logan was cutting some wood with his claws that had a white aura surrounding it. Albion, it was a good idea to transmit some of my energy to your claws, partner. Logan, that's right, he said, stopping suddenly. This is a little easier. Albion, and are you going to tell him? Logan, say what? Albion, don't pretend you know exactly what I mean. Logan, I don't know, Albion, he said, looking at the Japanese girl. I'm afraid they'll hurt me again. Albino, dude, give it a chance and maybe you'll make me an uncle, ha ha ha. Logan, shut up, Albino, he said, embarrassed. With Mariko, she had finished picking the fruit and was looking at Logan with a blush while having a smile. Mariko, Logan, she said in a whisper while touching her chest. 1 hour later, Mariko could be seen wearing a kimono while cooking something, and then Logan arrived, who was shirtless, revealing his toned body, making the black-haired girl blush a little. Mariko approached Logan and began to touch his body while Logan watched her. Mariko, when you get hurt, don't you feel pain? She asked in a whisper. Logan, yes, he answered the same in a whisper. Mariko, Logan, have you ever thought about stopping fighting? Logan, not really. Mariko, Kazuri, how long have you been like this? Logan, many years, he said while getting lost in her beautiful gaze. I was once told that my destiny was to live forever, with no reason to live. Mariko, and they were right? Logan, yes. Mariko, and she said, looking at him, and now? Logan slowly approached her face and kissed her. Mariko was a little shocked but decided to reciprocate. While the only witness was the white dragon, Mariko held Logan's arms and he grabbed her by the neck, deepening the kiss even more. Inqua, a certain white-haired girl, was asleep while hugging her pillow, but then she wakes up and feels a pang in her heart and a few tears in her eyes. Kaneko, senpai, she said in a whisper as she looked at the engagement ring her true love had given her. Back with Logan, he was lying next to Mariko while hugging her while he had a smile, but that smile was erased when he saw that he was hugging Kaneko. Kaneko, what do you think you're doing, senpai? You can't be with her. I'm the only one who can be in your heart. In that, we would see what appeared to be a large silver samurai trying to attack Logan and Mariko. Logan would dodge the first attack and block the second, then he would wake up from his nightmare and pull out his claws while growing. Mariko would wake up because of that and touch her lover's hand, making Logan alert. Mariko, Kazuri, do you know what it means? I asked, looking at Logan. An animal. It's not afraid of anything. My grandmother told me stories about Kazuri when I had nightmares or couldn't sleep. She told me it was a magical being, That it would protect me from anything. Logan, Mariko. Mariko, I used to listen to you when you were sleeping, when you had nightmares, she said, looking at him in her eyes. Who is Kaneko? Logan just stayed quiet as he looked away while turning serious. Mariko, was he just like you? Logan just shook his head. Mariko, and what happened to her? Logan, she left me, she abandoned me, all because of a misunderstanding, he said, lying back down. Mariko, I will never leave you alone, I will always be there for you, she said while putting her head on his chest. Logan, I know, my beloved Mariko. Atino blushed at that but gave a small smile and hugged Logan so they both could sleep peacefully. Chapter 4 Season 2. It was a beautiful morning in Mexico City, but we can see in an airport a certain couple walking to a private plane while Mariko was reviewing some papers and Logan was carrying both of their suitcases. But he was not entirely happy about the trip, and the reason for that was very simple. It was because they both had to go to Japan. Mariko's home country. Flashback. Logan could be seen cooking breakfast for him and Mariko while the aforementioned was talking on the phone, but she looked serious. She thought that her love did not listen to her, but unfortunately he was not deaf and did understand her language. Mariko on. So the company is on the verge of bankruptcy? That's right, Mariko. You have to return to Japan to be able to fix things. We are also going to join with the grammar industry to be able to help each other since they are in the same situation as us. Mariko. Okay, then early tomorrow morning I'll take a plane to Japan. Okay, daughter, we will be waiting for you here. Mariko, by the way, maybe I won't go alone. What do you mean? Mariko, you already know, well, I already have what to go, take care, Mom. Mariko hangs up the phone and goes to where Logan was and finds him sitting in the dining room with a serious face and his two hands together while resting his chin on them. Mariko, Logan. Logan, you're going to Japan and you wanted to know if I would agree to go with you, right? Mariko, how did you know? Logan, let's just say I have a good ear, and I understand your language. Mariko, so what do you think? Logan just stood up and started walking while his eyes were closed. Mariko thought he didn't like the idea but was glad to hear the following. Logan, I'll pack my bags right away so we can travel. Mariko just nodded with a smile and started eating the breakfast her boyfriend/future fiancé had prepared. End flashback. They both got on the plane and it proceeded to take off. Mariko was still focused on the company documents while Logan looked out the window seeing the clouds while thinking about a certain clan, but more about a certain white-haired girl. Albion, are you okay, buddy? He asked mentally. Logan, no, Albion, he answered equally while drinking some whiskey. Albion, calm down, buddy, you'll see that everything will turn out well. Logan, I hope so, otherwise I'll take it out on you. Albion, and why with me? Logan, because I want to and I can. Albion just shivered and prayed that Drake didn't detect him because if he did there would be a big problem and he didn't want to die before the time was up. Mariko saw that Logan was a little serious while he drank his whiskey and she looked out the window, so she decided to stop what she was doing and sat next to him while putting her head on the brown-haired man's chest. Mariko, what's wrong, love? Logan, remember I told you about the problem I had with that clan? To tell the truth, I don't know if I'm ready to see them again, especially her. Mariko, that's why we're going, she said, separating herself from him a little so that you can finally make things clear. And also so that you can meet my parents, she said the last thing, blushing a little. Logan, it's okay, love, he said, hugging her while kissing her. Albion, I hope nothing crazy happens when we're in front of the Gremory, he thought as he watched the couple share their love. 13 hours later, the plane the couple was traveling on could be seen landing at the airport in Japan. Then they were picked up by one of the servants who served the Yasuda house, and they were traveling through the streets of the great city of Tokyo. Logan only saw the big buildings while some memories came to him when he was in his old world and when he was with the Gremory clan. Logan, I never thought I'd come back here. Mariko, everything will be okay, love. While in a large building, a slightly older redhead could be seen sorting out some papers until a certain mutant with an obsession with black clothes entered. Rias, Victor, how are things going for tomorrow's meeting? Victor, everything is fine, Rias. while ago I received information that the president of Yashida Industries has just arrived. Rias, that's great, with your support we can get through this, and how the others are doing in their areas. Victor, well, Aquino has done well in the area of industrial chemistry. Issei and Kiba have been able to solve some problems with some mechanical projects. Asia, Irina, Zenobia and Gasper have managed to get materials for the project we have with the Yashida. Rias, and Gasper has been able to help you well with security. Victor, that's right, he's a very smart boy. Rias, that makes me happy, she said happily. Victor, and how is she? Rias, I'm afraid it's getting worse. I don't know what to do, Victor, he said while he began to feel guilty for what happened every night. He has the same nightmare of seeing Logan leave his side. He can't stop mentioning his name, and he always carries the ring that Logan gave him to ask him to marry him. Victor, it's clear that I love him with all my being. Rias, if only we had listened to him. Victor, I will keep looking for him, and when I find him I will make him see reason so he can return to little Kaneko. Rias, thank you, Victor. Victor just retired to do his homework while Rias continued with the paperwork, but then he saw the big full moon while thinking about Logan, whom he came to consider as an older brother. Rias, Logan and I-san, if only you knew everything that Kaneko is suffering because of the guilt she has for herself, she said, and then looked at a photo in which everyone appeared, including Logan and Victor. The first hope that you come back very soon so that we can be a big family again. Chapter 5 Season 2 Yashida Residence. We can see how a car was arriving at a large residence which was guarded by several security guards who were attentive to anything out of the ordinary. Logan, why so many guards? He asked as he got out of the car and packed his and Mariko's things. Mariko, well, we've been attacked. Logan, for who? Mariko, the Japanese mafia, the Yakuza, grows stronger as the government weakens. At that, several men would surround Logan and pass several metal detecting devices all over his body, starting to sound while Mariko tried to calm her guards. Logan, that's my hip replacement. 30 minutes later, Logan could be seen sitting in the living room while he waited for Mariko to finish changing. Then he grabbed a small pamphlet with the Yashida symbol on it. He opened it looking at photos of the Yashida until he saw one of Mariko when she was a child and just smiled at that. I heard as if someone was fighting and decided to go to where the noise was and saw a man mopping the floor with another guy. Logan, I've seen several beatings, but without a doubt this is the best, he said while continuing to watch the training. But in that he would be hugged from behind. He turned his gaze only to see Mariko, who had a smile and was wearing a beautiful pink kimono. Mariko, hello, love. Logan, hello, he said, giving him a short kiss. Who is he? Mariko was a little confused, but then she turned to look where she saw Logan watching the guys train. Mariko, this is Shingwin Yashida, my father, Logan. The man removes his protective mask, revealing his face as he stares at Logan and holds his bamboo sword tighter. Logan, he's trying to intimidate me, he said while looking back at his girlfriend's father, who had knocked down his opponent. Mariko, maybe he liked you, she said gracefully. Logan had also smiled, but when he turned back to where Shinjin was only to lock eyes with him, and then he went to his girlfriend who was waiting for him outside the room. So the two of them began to walk while being watched by the guards and maids. Logan, who are you looking at? Mariko, I think both of them love, but more you, he, she said, touching his nose. Logan, so this is how you want to play, he said with an evil smile. Mariko, no, she said with fear. Logan just started to approach Mariko like a predator, while she tried to slowly back away since her love already knew her weakness, which was tickling. Logan, here comes the tickle animal, he said while moving his fingers. Mariko, no, Logan, don't do it, she said with a smile as she started running and was followed by Logan. So Mariko started running while Logan followed her, and all of this was seen by the workers of the house while they had a smile since they had never seen Mariko smile like that. So they thanked Logan for having made her happy, but Shinjin still had to test Logan to see if he was worthy of his daughter, although he also thanked him for having appeared in his life. Meanwhile at the Haidu residence, the Gremory clan could be seen eating while a certain albino loli took 2 plates to her room. Rias, Kaneko, where do you think you're going with those dishes? She asked seriously as she continued eating. Kaneko, I'll take you to my room. Rias, and why? Kaneko, so that me and Logan-senpai can have dinner. Zenobia, but if Lo. She didn't finish because Victor poked her leg with one of his nails to make her shut up. Zenobia, why did Victor-san do that? Victor, so you shut your mouth, he said through clenched teeth and whispering. Kaneko, well, without further ado, I'm leaving. Rias, I hope you've at least finished the plans for the new power reactor we plan to create with the help of the Yashidas. Kaneko, that's right, President, I left the plans on the table in the living room, she said as she proceeded to go up the stairs. Victor, okay, since she's gone, tell me, who's the one who eats the second plate when she's distracted or asleep? At that, everyone turns to look at Issei, who began to tremble from the cold look they were giving him. Issei, well, I. Victor, idiot, I claim, giving him a punch that sent him against the wall. Rias, Aquino, please pass me the plans that Kaneko made. Aquino just agreed and handed him the plans. Everyone looked at it and didn't notice any mistakes. In fact, they were very surprised by Kaneko's great intelligence, since what she had made in the plans was a large reactor with unlimited energy. I don't know where she had gotten the idea from. But Victor remembered a certain armored millionaire. Victor, thank you, Stark Pensos, so that no one would know who had the original idea, and while also going through the suffering that his brother had to go through to learn this and also to teach it to Kaneko. Chapter 6, Season 2. It was a beautiful morning in Kwa City, and everyone was going to their respective jobs while wearing a smile. But a certain group was going to work with a serious expression, since that day was going to be the day of the meeting with the head of the Yashida company, and they wanted to do their best to look good in front of the Yashidas so they could gain their support. Rias, very well, remember that we must be ready before 2 p.m. All hi Bicho. Rias, Victor, you and Gasper will be in charge of security, she said, receiving a nod from the two. Zenobia, you will go with Asia and Irina to the genetic research floor to review the specimens. Zenobia, yes, Bicho. Rias, Issei, you and Kiba will go to the warehouse to count the materials. Aquino, you will accompany me to my office to arrange some remaining paperwork. Kaneko, and me, Bicho? Rias, you will go to check on the progress of the Kaneko reactor. The white-haired girl just agreed, and everyone went to different parts of the building. While with Logan, he was on a train heading to Kwa, while in front of him was his girlfriend Mariko, who was reviewing some documents while drinking some coffee. Logan, I can tell this meeting is very important to you, Mariko. Mariko, we're on the verge of bankruptcy, Logan. I have to find a way to fix it. Logan, and you will, Mariko. Mariko just left the papers on the table and approached Logan and then sat on his legs while they both looked into each other's eyes with a smile. Mariko, that's why I love you, Logan. You always support me and you're by my side, she said, and then kissed him. Albion, I'm very proud of you, partner, I thought while witnessing the scene of the two of them. An hour later, Logan could be seen driving while Mariko told him where to go. They were like that for a few minutes until they reached their destination, which was Gremery Industries. Logan was very amazed by the great building, even reminding him of the Avengers Tower where it all began. Mariko, is something wrong, Logan? She asked, seeing the state of her boyfriend. Logan, it's nothing, I just remembered something, he said with a smile. Albion, it's about your old world, isn't it, mate? Logan, that's Albion. So Logan accelerated a little more to get to the big building so they could finish what they had to do faster. In the tower, we can see almost the entire Gremery group gathered in the meeting room, while Kaneko stayed in the basement to finish creating the reactor. Victor, are you sure he's coming? Rias, his family gave me their word, so it's very certain that they will come. Issei, I hope so. But then a worker would come in and say the following. Worker, Miss Gremery, Miss Yashida has arrived. Rias, excellent. Let her in, she said, and the worker just went for the person they were waiting for. At that point, Mariko would enter the room while wearing dark glasses that highlighted her seriousness. Mariko, good afternoon, Miss Gremery and company. Rias, good afternoon, Miss Mariko. Aquino, I guess you already know what our situation is. Mariko, that's right. Rias, and that is why we ask you to please support us by making a small union between industries. Mariko, for me it would be a pleasure. She couldn't finish because Victor interrupted her. Victor, before we continue, tell us something. Mariko, what thing? Victor, who's that outside? Upon asking that, everyone looked at the entrance, noticing a silhouette that was very familiar to them, but they couldn't recognize it. Mariko, oh. Sorry for not introducing you, he's my bodyguard, she said while looking at the door. You can come in now. Saying that, the silhouette began to walk until it became visible, leaving everyone very shocked since it was the person they had been looking for a long time. Logan, hello, he said coldly as he greeted everyone. Rias, what Logan, is that really you? Logan, that's right, Gremory. Akino, this is very good. When Kaneko sees you she will surely be happy. And Logan, I'm sorry but I'm not here for Miss Tujo. Hearing what he had said to the albino Nico, they were stunned because they didn't even think that Logan would call her by her name, but then they saw how Mariko grabbed him by the hand and told him the following. Mariko, Logan, calm down, remember that we are here to fix things. Logan, sure Mariko, he said to give her a kiss on the forehead, causing everyone there to give a loud scream that was heard throughout the building. Chapter 7 Season 2. Everyone couldn't believe what they had just seen as Logan had kissed the president of Yashida Industries on the forehead. Mariko was blushing a lot because of what her boyfriend/fiancé had done, but Victor with a serious but angry face grabbed Logan roughly by the arm and pulled him so that he could look at him in his eyes. Victor, what are you doing, Jimmy? He asked somewhat angry. Logan, what are you talking about, Victor? I asked seriously. Victor, you know very well that you are with Kaneko. Logan, you're wrong, he said as he released himself from her grip. I'm nothing to her anymore, and she's nothing to me anymore. Rias, don't you know everything he had to suffer? She asked with tears threatening to come out. Logan, and why does she have to suffer if she is with Issei Hayato? Issei, Logan, she and I decided to end our relationship when we learned the truth. Asia, she was always looking for you relentlessly. Logan, I know that, but the love I felt for her was gone. It died when I saw her kiss the Tsukuyotai with great passion. Issei, Logan, you will go back to her or I swear. Logan, you swear? Tsukuyotai said, took out his dragon wings, shocking everyone but more so a certain red dragon. Drake, it's impossible, are you? He said, materializing on the brown-haired boy's arm. Logan, that's right, I am the Hakuryuko. Mariko, okay, this is new to me, she said with a nervous smile. Drake, but how is it possible that you are the Hakuryuko? Albion, because he killed my former carrier and I took the opportunity to transfer into his body. Logan, well, we didn't come to talk about my life, we came to see about the company's. Akino, but Logan. Logan, you are the least indicated to speak, he said in a serious and cold manner, scaring everyone. Thus the meeting began, but there was great tension throughout the room as Logan maintained a very cold attitude towards the Gremory clan, who were very nervous. But they wondered how Kaneko would react when she finds out about Logan. Mariko, okay, so with this we can join forces to stabilize our industries? Rias, that's right, she replied, something serious. Mariko, well, they had a new project that was going to benefit the country, right? Zenobia, that's right. Mariko, could you show us, please? So Rias started walking while Mariko and Logan followed behind her, and the rest of the club went back to their business, but remaining that there won't be a problem when Kaneko sees Logan with someone else. While in the basement of the building, there were several workers connecting different computers, entering various codes, and checking some blueprints while Kaneko was observing what was happening while holding a tablet in her hand. Kaneko, very soon the arc reactor will be ready to provide energy to the country, she said with a smile, and then looked at a photo of her with Logan. I wish she were here, Logan-senpai. In that she sees how her president enters with another person, she immediately assumed that it was the president of Yashida Industries. Kaneko was going to go talk to them about the rector, but she stopped dead when she saw our favorite mutant enter while he had a serious face. Kaneko, senpai, she said very happily while several tears fell down her face. Logan, seeing Kaneko, just let out a heavy sigh and stood next to Mariko. Kaneko, seeing that, felt great jealousy but thought that her beloved was the bodyguard of the president of Yashida Industries. Rias, hello Kaneko. Kaneko, hello Bicho. Rias, Kaneko, let me introduce you to the president of Yashida Industries, Mariko Yashida. Kaneko, it's a pleasure to meet you, Miss Yashida. Mariko, the pleasure is mine, Miss Tujo. Logan, I can tell she's changed quite a bit since I've been gone, he thought as he looked at the white-haired girl. Albion, it was to be expected, my friend. While a couple of kilometers from the Gremery Industries, a certain mutant in a red suit and white skin could be seen with what appeared to be a device that allowed him to increase the energy of his tentacle discharges. Red Omega, just be patient, Wolverine. Very soon I will end your miserable life, he said, starting to jump from building to building towards Gremery Industries. Chapter 8 Season 2. Gremery Industries basement. Many workers could be seen clearing the reactor area while Rias, Mariko and Logan were in a safe area and Kaneko at a computer ready to activate the reactor and surprise everyone with what she has managed to do thanks to the teachings of her beloved. Kaneko, okay, diverting the primary energy current, storing energy, she said while pressing several buttons. Please make it work, I beg. The machine began to glow a sky blue as it began to emit sparks of the same color. Everyone watched attentively what was happening until the reactor was deactivated. Kaneko, no, that was all she said as she tried to reactivate it. Rias, Kaneko, what happened? Kaneko, there was an overload causing the reactor to shut down. Rias, and can you repair it? Kaneko, I would have to start from zero, Bicho. Mariko, Rias, Gremery knows how much this means, doesn't she? Rias, I know, but... Mariko, Rias, I need you to finish your project to know if I can trust you, she said. Look, another company offered me their support with a spacesuit prototype. Rias, just give me 3 weeks, Miss Mariko. Mariko, I can't because in 2 there is going to be a conference in which I am going to say the name of the company I am joining, she said, scaring the redhead. So Rias and Mariko started arguing while Logan watched as Kaneko tried to desperately fix the reactor. He sighed and walked to where the albino was. Kaneko, sigh, it's useless. I'll never be able to make this life work, but then she sees Logan approaching her. Senpai, what are you doing here? But instead of answering, Logan approached the computer and began pressing different keys, adding codes as well as correcting some things. Rias, please, Miss Mariko. Mariko, I understand, Miss Gremery, I can't, but then she sees how Logan was working on the machine. Logan, what are you doing? Rias also fixed her gaze on the mutant, seeing that he was doing something to the reactor. Logan kept clacking while having a serious look until he pressed a blue button that said start. So the reactor began to turn on and everyone just waited to see what would work. After a few minutes, the reactor finished charging and now it did not deactivate but remained active and with a slightly more intense glow than the previous when it tried. Rias, it worked, she said incredulously. Mariko, it seems that in the end there will be a contract between us, Rias, Gremery. Kaneko just looked at Logan with a smile, while he just looked at the reactor seriously and also with some anger. Logan, if there ever is a chance to see you again, Stark, I'm going to kill you, he thought angrily while Albion just laughed at that. But before anyone could say anything, one of the walls was destroyed and a white tentacle came out of the smoke and began to attack anyone who was nearby. Logan, after 7 years and you're still here, Red Omega, he said seriously looking at the smoke. Red, you know me, Wolverine, he said evilly, I'm not leaving until I've killed you. Saying that, the smoke cleared, revealing Red Omega, who had a strange device on his chest. Red, what is going to happen this very day, he said, making his tentacles dance. Logan, I've heard that before, Red Omega, and to be honest I'm getting tired of hearing the same nonsense. Red, this is your end, Hound. Do you have any ending words? Logan, yes, too, he said, taking out his claws that were brighter and gave off a white aura. So Logan threw himself at Red Omega while he was alone, surrounding his tentacles with electricity to start a fight in front of everyone present. Chapter 9 Season 2. Logan and Red Omega had thrown themselves at each other to start their fight while the workers evacuated the place except for Rias, Kaneko and Mariko, who watched with great amazement and shock as the mutants fought each other. Kaneko, do you think Senpai will win? Mariko, he will win, I'm sure of that. Rias, I agree. In the fight, Logan tried to cut Red Omega, but he made him retreat with his electric tentacles until he managed to hold him, and Logan tried to free himself. Red, please resist so that your death will be sweeter, he said, starting to electrocute him. Logan just let out a loud cry of pain, worrying Rias a lot but Marino and Kaneko even more. Red Omega began to slam Logan against the ground, and then crashed him against the wall. Red, when I'm done with you, those brats will be right after you, Wolverine. Logan got quite angry upon hearing that, and leaned against the wall to push himself up and kick Red Omega in the face. Logan, the problem is with me, fool. Red Omega just smiled and threw one of his tentacles, but Logan managed to block it with his claws, but he saw how Red was rising thanks to his tentacles that were holding on to the railings of the place, so without being left behind he did the same, leaving behind Rias, Kaneko, and Mariko. Mariko, how will we reach them? Rias, flying, she said, taking out her demon wings just like Kaneko. Mariko, you have wings? She asked quite shockingly. Rias, we will explain later, now we have to reach them. But before they could fly away, the other members of the Gremry group and Victor had entered. Victor, Rias, we have to get out of here, he said seriously. Rias, why? Issei, Drake says he detects the presence of the white very close. Zenobia, and if that's the case, we need to leave as quickly as possible. Saying that, Akino created a circle and teleported everyone out of the building. Mariko, boo, but how? Asia, Bucho, look, she said, pointing at the Gremry building. Everyone saw how things like desks, chairs, debris, etc. began to come out of the building, until a large curtain of smoke formed from the roof, from which Red Omega emerged, but then a white light shot into the sky. Issei, is that the white Drake? Drake, that's right, but you won't believe me if I tell you who it is. Kiba, who is it? Drake, well. It didn't end as the light intensified further and then dissipated, revealing Logan with the dividing divide wings, something that shocked everyone as Logan was now the bearer of the White Emperor Dragon and Issei's rival. Victor, but how is that possible? He asked, shocked. Drake, I'm sure I have killed the previous wielder of the dividend divide. Kaneko, my senpai wouldn't be able to do that. Mariko, excuse me, did you say yours? She said, annoyed. Both were about to start arguing, but then a loud noise was heard coming from the Gremry Industries, in which a lot of smoke had risen on the roof, and when it dissipated, Logan could be seen wrapped around Red Omega's tentacles while he electrocuted him, and a big smile appeared on his face. Red, come on, Wolverine, this isn't fun at all if you don't resist, he said, increasing the electricity even more. Logan only screamed because of the pain that the Gremry clan felt, and Mariko, upon hearing the screams of pain, everyone without hesitation quickly went to where to try to help him, even though there was already someone there, and it was a person who owed a lot, Uncle Logan. In the fight, Logan was against the ropes since he could not free himself, nor could he use the power of the dividing divide. He felt that this was going to be his downfall, but then he heard a strange sound and opened his eyes only to see how Red Omega dodged a metal disc. He looked for the cause of this, and could see a woman with short black hair, white skin and a very tight black suit, who seemed to look at him sadly. Logan, knowing who it was, just put on a slight smile but saw that Red Omega lowered his guard and jumped, knocking Red Omega down. They both began to fall from the building while the girl just started to run to catch up with them, and before the Gremry clan, Victor and Mariko arrived at the place. Chapter 10 Season 2. Red Omega and Wolverine were falling while exchanging blows until Logan gave him a big blow to the face, causing him to fall to the ground, but not before making Wolverine fall with him by pulling him with one of his tentacles. Then Logan quickly left the alley while dodging Red Omega's attacks. But in that, Red grabbed his wrist with one of his tentacles, causing both of them to go through a wall to be in the middle of the street, while they were seen by many people. Red Omega, what's wrong, Wolverine? I think you're getting slow, ha ha ha, he said mockingly. Logan, shut up, he said angrily as he began to float thanks to his dragon wings. Red Omega, ha, idiot, he said, pulling his tentacles, causing Logan to crash a little far from him. Red Omega began to run towards Logan, who was getting up, and tried to knee him, but Wolverine blocked it by putting his arms in an X shape, but the force was so great that it made him back off, Then Red tried to hit him, but Logan also managed to block it. Then Red grabbed both of Wolverine's hands so that he would look at his face while he gave Logan electric shocks. Red Omega, ha 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 ha, you've become very weak, Wolverine. Maybe I'll go have fun with that girl after finishing you off, he said with superiority. Logan, repeat what you said, he said angrily. Red Omega, I'll kill that girl who's with you right now. He didn't finish speaking as Logan took momentum with his wings and headbutted Red Omega, causing him to crash into a wall. Red tried to hit him, but Wolverine dodged him and kicked him, making him step back and then slashing his right arm off. Logan, now, what were you planning to do to my Mariko? He asked seriously. Red Omega, that would kill her, he shouted angrily, trying to attack with his only tentacle. Logan managed to dodge that attack, causing Red Omega to hit the ground, causing a large curtain of dust to rise. Wolverine hid in the dust, making Red Omega very nervous. Then Logan appears in front of him and makes a cut, tearing out the strange device he had on his chest. In that, he sees that Red Omega disconnects and drops him to the ground. Logan just started walking until he left the alley, only to see how there were many Yakuzas attacking the Gremry Company, and now one of the Yakuza noticed Logan and was going to shoot him until the girl who had helped him jumped on top of him and kicked him, leaving him unconscious. Logan, how did you get here? Girl, thank you at least, right? Logan, answer. Girl, well, I've been following you for a while, more specifically since you saved me. My name is Yukio, she said, extending her hand. Logan, my name is Logan, he said, taking her hand. But before they could say anything else, they were interrupted by Rias and her group, who were escorted by many bodyguards. Rias, Logan, we have a problem, she said, nervous about how he was going to react. Logan, what happens now? Victor, it's Mariko, they took her away, he said seriously. Logan, upon hearing that, immediately began to sniff Mariko's scent, but it was nothing like she had been swallowed by the earth. But then the brown-haired boy's cell phone rang and he answered, getting a big surprise when he heard that it was one of the workers at the Yashida house. Logan, this is Logan, he said, answering the call. Subject, MR. Logan, we have a problem here, he screamed in fear as gunshots could be heard in the background. Logan, what's going on? Are those gunshots? Subject, we need your help. Then you hear the door being knocked down. Please help us, he said as he cut off the call. Logan, hey, HY damn. Zenobia, what's wrong? Logan, they attacked the Yashida residence, he said, annoyed and throwing his cell phone aside. Kiba, and what do you plan to do? Logan, what else? I'm going to Tokyo to find out who the bastard was who attacked the Yashida residence, although I'm already getting an idea of who it was, he said with great anger, although he thought the last thing seriously. Asia. But no, you must first look for Mariko-san. I mean, you are her bodyguard and fiancé, she said without knowing what caused a certain albino Nekomata to get upset about that. Logan, if I go there I'll also find out who the trash was that kidnapped Mariko. Victor, then we will accompany you, he said determinedly. Logan, no, besides you guys only bring me trouble. Issei, hey, we also want to help, apart from the fact that you can't make magic circles like us and also that we are also involved, he said, pointing at the Gremry industry that had broken glass and fire coming out of some floors. Albino, comrade, don't accept, he said in his mind. Logan, as much as Albion doesn't want it, they are right, he said, the same as his tenant. Okay, you can come with me, but if you get in my way, your nightmares will not compare to what I am going to do to you, he said seriously, scaring the Gremry a little. So Kaneko proceeded to make a magic circle towards the Yashida residence without knowing the big surprise that awaited her upon arrival, although Logan was already getting an idea of who he was going to see there. Chapter 11 Season 2. A magic circle with the Gremry emblem began to appear at the entrance doors from which Logan came out with Yukio, Rias, Akino, Issei and Kaneko. Logan, seeing that everything was silent, immediately kicked the main door, seeing how the garden was full of bodies. They were the corpses of the agents who were guarding the Yashida residence. Without further ado, Logan proceeded to enter the residence, starting to check room by room until there was only one room left to check. But as he approached, he smelled an aroma that he had not smelled for years. Without further ado, he kicked the door, seeing that there was Mikage Kikyo, who was in the lotus position with her back to him. Mikage, you're late, he said, still with his back to her. Logan, where are they? Mikage, if you want to know, he said while summoning his katana, you will have to defeat me. Logan only proceeded to pull out his claws from his right fist as he stared at the mutant killer. Everyone could feel a great killing instinct in the air. But out of nowhere, Logan went to attack Mikage Kikyo, who dodged the attack and then tried to cut Logan, who managed to block the attack, and then began to exchange cuts between them at high speed under the sight of everyone present, who were quite impressed by the speed with which both mutants gave the cuts, but in that Logan wanted to dig his claws into Mikage Kikyo's face, which managed to block the attack and then block a cut from the murderous mutant, and make him back off, but Mikage kicked him out of the residence. Logan started to run while being followed by Mikage Kikyo. The members of the Gremmy group and Yukio began to follow them throughout the city. Issei, I thought Logan was strong. Akino, and that he wasn't afraid of anything. Yukio, and it is just changing the location of the battle, he said while running alongside the Gremmy group. Everyone was running through the streets of Tokyo in order to reach the two mutants. But when they reached the center of the city, they lost sight of them. They began to look for them with their eyes until Kaneko found them, telling the others where they were. Everyone turned their gaze to a building where Logan was climbing one of its sides with his claws, while Mikage Kikyo made great jumps supporting herself with open windows. Emergency stairs or balconies. Mikage, when she was close to Logan, tried to cut him with her katana, but he managed to block it, creating a silver flash, and then both fell on the roof of the building. Logan, where's Mariko? Mikage, I already told you, didn't I? I'll tell you where they are, he said, raising his katana, until you defeat me. After saying that, Mikage Kikyo made a downward slash, creating a large gale of air that headed towards Logan, who covered himself with his arms in an X shape, while the gale hit him with great force, making him step back a couple of centimeters. Logan lowered his arms when he stopped feeling the blizzard, but in that some cuts appeared on his body as well as on his left cheek. The Gremmy group and Yukio, when they arrived, saw Logan's wounds and were a little worried, but then they saw how Logan was heading to attack Mikage quickly. He jumped in an attempt to dig his claws into Mikage Kikyo's body, but he managed to dodge the attack, causing Logan to hit the ground with his claws, creating a small crater. Mikage, your attacks are slow, Wolverine, so you can't hurt me, he said while standing a few meters behind Logan. Wolverine was going to proceed to attack Mikage Kikyo again until an explosion occurred near them. They turned to the origin of the explosion, finding a large curtain of smoke from which a white tentacle came out at high speed against Logan, holding him tightly, lifting him into the air, and then starting to electrocute him, making man give a great cry of pain. The Gremmy group and Yuriko were worried about that, but in that they see how Red Omega emerged from the dust with a new arm and a new power enhancer embedded in his chest. Mikage, this is my fight, he said seriously, but he looked upset. Red Omega, and they said they couldn't wait. Mikage, upon hearing that, limited himself to running to the side of the building and starting to attack from building to building until he was out of sight of the others. Issei was going to proceed to follow Mikage, but then a grenade hit near him, exploding and sending him flying to the edge of the building where they were. Red Omega, I almost hit that stupid brat, he said while having his new arm raised. After saying that, Red Omega repeated the action and began to spin grenade after grenade, which were dodged by the Gremmy group and Yukio. Kaneko tried to get close to him to try to give him a strong hit, but Red Omega threw a grenade in his direction, making him barely dodge it but feeling damaged by the force of the explosion. Logan, seeing that, took the tentacle with his hands and pushed himself to give Red Omega a strong kick, making him step back. Red Omega, that's it. Resist so that your death will be sweeter, he said, electrocuting him again. Logan tried to withstand the electric currents that Red Omega gave him, but then Red Omega stuck his tentacle in Logan's neck and then began to walk his entire body along the roof of the building, creating a large curtain of dust. Logan took advantage of that opportunity since Red Omega could see him. So he took a large rock and threw it in the middle of the tentacle, causing him to release it, and then head at high speed against Red Omega, and then landed a quick cut on Red Omega's chest, cutting off the power enhancer, and taking advantage of the opportunity to knee him in the face, leaving him knocked out on the ground, giving Logan as the winner, who was trying to catch his breath while looking in the direction where Mikage Kikyo went. Yukio, are you okay, Logan? Logan, no, I'm not. I'm not at all, he said, clenching his fists. Kaneko, seeing that he could only feel a great pressure in his heart. But before anyone said anything, a great current of air was present in the place. Everyone turned their gaze to the sky, seeing a large jet that descended little by little, revealing that the pilot was Milikus himself, who had a special suit that Logan knew very well. Chapter 12. Season 2. It was a big mess in the old occult club where you could see the Citri clan, Gremory, the leaders of the Alliance, and Milikus being accompanied by Kunu. These two were explaining everything that happened from before they arrived until their appearance, in addition to telling them about the disappearance of Mariko Yashida and her family, being the main suspect Mikage Kikyo, who was now working for the Chaos Brigade. While the King Gremory pleads for them, saying that everything they said was true, making the leaders get serious about the information given. While outside the club, Logan could be seen looking at the stars while smoking a fan, thinking about where his beloved Mariko could be, but his thoughts had been cut off by his current partner and friend Albion, the white celestial dragon, who could come to understand a little about what Logan aka Wolverine was going through. "Albion, calm down, buddy, I'm sure you'll be able to find her," he said, trying to calm Wolverine down. "Logan, I don't know, Albion. I don't know if I can save her. I've already lost too much, and I'm afraid of losing her too." "Albion, come on, buddy, you don't have to be like that, you'll see that everything will turn out okay." "Logan, I hope so, Albion, because if she happened to him, she wouldn't be able to," he tried to say before saying that someone else was behind him. "What can I help you with, Tujo?" he asked in a serious and cold manner, while behind him appeared a certain albino who was very nervous about being near him. "Kaneko, Logan Sempelo just wanted to know how you were," she said, trying to get closer to him. "After all, it's been several years since I heard anything from you." "Logan, and since when have you worried about how I was or how I felt?" he said, still with his back to her while releasing a little smoke from the fan he was holding. "As I understood it, you wanted me out of your life in addition to being in love with that brat from the Circuitii." "Kaneko, Senior, please let me." "Logan, it doesn't matter what you say, Kaneko. Everything is in the past, just like what happened to us," he said, looking at her out of the corner of his eye. "What happened to us was just a mistake." "Kaneko, but why do you say that, senpai?" "Logan, why did our paths only cross, but were never destined to join?" he said as he dropped what was left of his fan and stepped on it, turning it off. Kaneko, upon hearing those words, just walked away from there as she began to cry, while Logan stood there still looking at the sky, while he felt like he had finally taken a great weight off his shoulders. But another part of him told him that he had done wrong by speaking that way to the little albino girl, but then he smelled that his brother was near him, so he turned around, seeing him standing there staring at him, while Asia grew her nails, causing Wolverine to bring out his claws. "Logan, what do you want, Victor?" "Victor, I really don't understand how you can be so cruel and cold to her," he said as he slowly approached him. "Don't you know everything she suffered when you left? All the nights she cried for you? I regret not having listened to you," he said, trying to attack him with his claws. But Logan dug his metal claws into the palm of his brother's hand and then put a little force into it by digging his claws between his neck and chest and slamming him hard against the wall to bring out his other claws, pointing them at his older brother's face, who stared at him, trying to endure the pain he was feeling at that moment as he felt his brother's claws pierce his chest and lungs, while he had a cold look ready to kill him at that very moment. "Logan, you think I care at least about what happens to that girl?" he said as he moved his claws a little, causing his brother's blood to spill on the ground. "I always tried to make her listen to me, but it seems that in the end she didn't feel the same way I felt about her." "Victor, Jimmy just..." "Logan, what happened between her and me is something that should never have happened," he said, taking out his claws and freeing his brother. "Now the only thing that matters to me is Mariko, and as soon as I manage to find her I will leave Kwa so I can finally make my life with her like I promised her." After saying that, he proceeded to leave the place, leaving his brother lying there while he held the place where his brother had stabbed him. But what neither of them had realized was that everything had been seen and heard by Kaneko, who felt like her heart had broken into several fragments, and her eyes did not stop expelling tears from the pain she felt at that moment.
Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.